As President Joseph Boakai departs for Washington, D.C. to attend a high-level summit hosted by Donald Trump, back home in Liberia, controversy is heating up over a real deal that could reshape the country's economic and geopolitical future. Trump ally Laura Loomer has raised red flags, accusing elements within the U.S. State Department of pressuring Liberia to approve a deal that could hand strategic rail infrastructure to Ivanhoe Atlantic, a company recently rebranded from HPX and reportedly linked to Chinese interests. At stake is control of the Yekepia to Buchanan Railway, an $800 million investment by ArcelorMittal, which employs thousands of Americans and heavily sources equipment from the U.S. Ivanhoe operates primarily in Guinea and is seeking access to Liberia's ports, raising concerns that the rail could become a gateway for Chinese-backed firms expanding across West Africa. Over the weekend, confusion reigned. The Boakai government announced plans to sign the agreement, only for journalists to be barred and later told twice that no signing had taken place. But reports suggest the deal was inked behind closed doors. The controversy has now reached Washington. High-profile Republicans are asking questions, and so are Liberians. Ivanhoe insists is a U.S.-based firm with no Chinese state-backed shareholders. But with over 50% of its ownership undisclosed, suspicions linger. Now, all eyes turn to President Boakai and the Liberian legislature. Will they approve the deal? And at what cost to Liberia's sovereignty and America's strategic interests in the region?
Yeah, this morning, former President Weah have decided to now run for president 2029. Yes, he finally acknowledged the fact that the Liberian people no longer need him as president. Yes, my Liberian people, you're listening to the video so we can continue the discussion. I want you to listen to what he said from his own mouth. His own self-mouth. This going Sunday.
I cannot perform a certain duty when I'm old. And what I'm talking about in 2 years from now, I'm 57 now. Our retirement age is 65. I'm 57 now. 6 years from now, I'll be 163, and I cannot work for 2 years. So the best thing to do is to promote peace and prosperity for this country. So you're not going to drag me into politics until I reach or 90 years old, or 75 years old. So I'm just telling you, because right now, you know what we face with? Our parents that were in politics when we were young. Our 1 year old, when my uncle was in politics, some of them can't even walk. We're seeing how we can take them to the hospital to survive. So when they are 80, they are 90 years old, they still don't in politics. It's not me. I did not come to politics to hijack politics. I think the politics will play a part. I think the politics will play a part. Maybe you can say, well, I think he wanted to prove something. And then I will agree with you, yes, I wanted to prove something. And the only thing I wanted to prove, when people say that we are insignificant people, and I want to put them wrong to say that, no, we are not insignificant. Yeah, we may not have the same or possibility that you have, but every possibility that we got, we can make use of it. You understand? So, I will never be president. When God knows I will be president. I will not do nothing in Liberia. I will get no wisdom. But you can look around Liberia, you can see that my fingerprint is everywhere. So, we are not chasing, we're not chasing politics. No. Pray to God to serve. That's why I serve the national team, and that's why I was hoping to serve as president of Liberia. But like I say again, thank you Liberians that gave me the opportunity. Whether it's 1 time, whether it's 50 times, but I can guarantee you it's 1 time. It's 1 time because I have broken undisputed record. Yeah. But let me now believe that because people love me, I'm going to be there for 90 to 100 years while children coming up to be leaders. I will not do that. If you're looking for me on that, just me. Well, I'm a vision of me on that. I vision them well. Because myself will be praying to God for the vision not to work. You understand? Because I need that for myself. I need that for my children. I need that for myself. So this is not I must. I can promote you and Liberia believes that you can be leader. This is who I am and what I want to do. So the revelation is a good one. I hope the next government that comes in will take that responsibility.
To be honest, it's the most.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the closing argument. Welcome. Today is Tuesday. This is July the 8th, 2025. Liberia has never disappointed when it comes to providing news, breaking news, unbreaking news, digging deeper, discovering news, bringing up our excavator to dig up news. So here we are, ladies and gentlemen, in the middle of our daily activities. We have a breaking news. If this is not AI generated, what I'm listening to, if it is true that the former president, His Excellency George Manen Zekuze, have decided to throw in the towel. Politics is no longer in his veins. He has no more interest in politics. I see Peter White from Minnesota. Thank you for being the first on here. But this is, ladies and gentlemen, this is huge. Is he a politician? Is he talking and behaving like politician? Should we say, let's wait and see? 2025 is 4 years away. Should we take anybody seriously that wants to run for president or doesn't want to run for president? Is it premature? Is this another political strategy? Because there's too much attention on the return of the Ballon d'Or, Africa's best, Euro's best, the world best, Liberia's best, Liberia's president. There's nothing else to prove, like he said. Come 2029, I will be 63 years old. I intend to totally retire at the age of 65. I do not want to be like the regular Liberian politicians. They are into politics their entire lives. He does not want to be going to meetings where people are whispering in his ears because he has forgotten something. He doesn't want to be taken to the podium like you see most of the African leaders. When you look at the likes of Paul Biya and the rest of the African leaders, they're literally being told, like the tow truck towing them to their podiums. You saw at the was it not the inauguration, but was it the State of the Union, the State of the Nation address in Liberia? President Waika was on stage, and people had to move closer to him, either gave him water or tell him what to do. That is not what this man said he wants to be. At that age, he wants to be relaxing in the Riviera or wants to be my neighbor here in Miami, enjoying the beautiful sunny skies of South Florida on his yacht, going to the Caribbean. We are 90 miles away from Cuba, from Havana. So this is what the former president is saying. I do not want to be like Joseph Boakai. I do not want to be like Paul Biya. And the list goes on and on and on and on. He wants to leave the stage at the apex. When ambitions are not starting. So this is a young man who knows his limitations, maybe. Or should we say, this is politics as usual? 2028, 2029 comes around, and the Liberian people, as usual, going around with their usual drafting or whatever name they call it. But we have many questions to ask. Like I'm saying, the show is going to be very interesting. There are several questions, like for instance, the news that was breaking sometime yesterday, the day before, Liberia's interest in metal steel was 30%. For some reason, it had been reduced to 15% without the information and consent of the Liberian people through their leaders in Congress. How is that possible? Who are the shareholders? If Liberia was allotted 30%, and all of a sudden 15% disappeared, where did that 15% go? Is our legislative body corporate to what's happening here? Do they know whether the people in Liberia that controls almost everything, the power elites, are they secret shareholders? How a legal document or the legal instrument, according to politicians, gave Liberians 30% of the royalty on the contractual agreement. And out of nowhere, Metal says Liberia is now down to 15%. How is that possible? In other news, a document in our possession reveals that the ministries of finance, agriculture, education, the World Food Program redirected COVID-19 funds to homegrown feeding programs. The question is, what in the world is this asset recovery team we are talking about in Liberia? What are they doing? When the former government officials say that this is a smoke screen, it's a witch hunt, but it's a distraction. Here we are. We got documentations, information back and forth between Samuel Pewee and the present minister, Mr. Garguah. You can tell that yes, the money was never went through directly to Mr. Pewee as they had claimed. You remember a few days ago, he fired back aromas. And we're going to dig a little deeper into that. We're going to bring you the information as it is written, researched by local newspapers. Today, our newspapers of choice will be Front Page Africa, the Liberia Investigators, and the Liberia Daily News or Daily Observers. So we're going to be looking at the information for, we're going to say three-dimensional news. Before we come on the air, we scan through the newspapers of Liberia. We do the same thing on the different pages, social media pages of major players in Liberia, all the actors, to see what's trending, and then we dig a little deeper. Okay. We are here also talking about a major development on the front page of the Liberian Investigator. The University of Liberia president flags overstaffing and academic fraud reform agenda at the University of Liberia. Dr. Lelai, president of the University of Liberia, has said one of the major reasons the university is struggling to meet its goal is overstaffing. Dr. Myean made the disclosure over the weekend when she addressed a town hall event known as the University on the Air. The program, run by the Liberian Media for Democratic Initiative, LMDR, provided the University of Liberia president an opportunity to engage in face-to-face dialogue with students and participants from various academic backgrounds, including other colleges in Monrovia. Dr. Myean recounted her first 100 days in office and the steps she is taking to confront the challenges facing the university, noting that not just President Joseph Boakai, but the entire Liberian public is looking to her to deliver meaningful reforms. Currently, up to 90% of the University of Liberia's budget goes toward paying salaries. Personnel costs take almost everything, the entire UL budget. Reminiscent of the Republic of Liberia, where the entire budget up to 90% goes to recurring expenses, nothing left for development. Hence, our offering basket. The president of the Republic of Liberia is begging everywhere for money. When USAID left the country was like an orphan crying. The president of the University of Liberia is saying, we are no different from the national struggles. 90% University of Liberia's budget goes to paying salaries. Personnel costs take almost everything, she said. People are complaining that the buildings are in bad shape or that there aren't enough chairs. They need to understand that nearly all the money goes to salaries. She disclosed that upon taking office, the university received $33.4 million from the national budget for 2025. Though she had requested minimum $41 million. $41 million to begin just the repositioning of the university. Minimum 41. They gave her 33. She wanted to bring the university at least up to par with some of the university, local colleges in the local area. Not internationally, but just to compete with the local universities in our sister countries. She needed a minimum $41 million to begin the process. They gave her $33 million. According to her, the university also suffered a setback after the U.S. Agency for International Development, USAID, ceased funding to support key programs such as public health and forestry education, leaving a significant gap her administration is now trying to fill. Can you imagine? The flagship university of the Republic of Liberia public health of all institutions is left unfunded. Everybody you talk to about, when we talk about accountability, when we talk about the assets of Liberia, everybody talk about ecotourism, our forests, our diversity when it comes to this and that. The lady is saying here, those two department, health and forestry, are now without funding. We're going to delve into that. That's one of the issues I want you to take keen address of. When you are talking about University of Liberia decaying, molded, students sitting barely on chairs, the rain pouring in. The flagship institution that bears the name of the Republic, the University of Liberia, is broke. She observed that there are two things going on. Not only the school is broke, but the school is overstaffed. And she says in here, as of this coming semester, there will be no more bachelor's degree teaching at the University of Liberia. So if you were teaching a class, how can you have a bachelor's degree and you are teaching somebody acquiring bachelor's degree? It's impossible. It shouldn't happen. So if you are at the University of Liberia and you only have a bachelor's degree and you are an instructor, you will be laid off. You have to improve yourself. That's what she's saying here. This is the crux of the problem. Overstaffing. All the politicians send their brothers, their cousins, their friends, because they're working in government, so now they have the expertise to be a lecturer. Go teach at the University of Liberia. It is wrong. Bachelor's degree, teaching bachelor's degree, it is not right. and she wants to tackle fraud, and she using Mr. D. Cooper Doll or Doll Cooper as an example. These should not happen. People are getting fraudulent degrees. This is the reason. Now let's go to the West African presidents. As 5 heads of states prepare their high-stake White House talks, President Trump pushes trade over aid in renewed African policy framework. As we wait for other analysts to join, let's look at the front page of Front Page Africa here. It says, staunch Trump backer raises red flag, says pro-China deep state undermining U.S. Liberia's interest pushing on proving Ivanhoe, HPX, the real deal. What's the real deal? We were on the show last night. I think it was Mr. Tomalin George. I want to know what is in the deal. Why was the deal signed in the middle of the night, literally 24 hours before the president could leave town? Why? Are we bypassing the legislative body? I understand supporters of the president saying he has the Constitution gives him all power, so we should wait. And the House of Representatives and the Senate, they say their only responsibility is to rectify. That's what the administration supporters are saying. They are not bypassing the legislative body, but according to the Constitution, they gave the president all power to negotiate power, contractual agreement, concession agreements. And once that contract is signed, it is the responsibility of the legislative body to now rectify. As we all know, the all-powerful president in the Republic of Liberia gets whatever he wants. So for those of you who are saying the president has the right and he's going to be checkmated in the House, come on, man. You can't come out here and make a fool out of us as though we are kids. No, we know better. We're going to discuss that. Now, there's another news-worthy topic. The Ministry of Finance, Education. We are talking about Mr. Gamfuan versus Tuet. And then document shows that ex-foreign minister Kamia did not receive Saudi rice funds as alleged by my young friend from Grand Bassa, Mr. Va, who served as deputy minister under Kemia. He was brought into the Ministry of Foreign Affairs by the Honorable Besagar Finlay. Upon the departure of Besagar Finlay, he worked with Kemia, and now we are seeing this maneuvering. Some are saying that he's doing it to get a job with the new administration because he was very, very emphatic. That millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia came through the ministry, and he knows that the money was misused by the representative here. But as we speak, you know, we have an operation on the ground. We have employees on the ground. They are doing great job. And we are coming to you, asking you for this July 26th. It's a tradition here. Every July 26th, our employees on the ground, our volunteers, whatever we collect here, at least it will make their day. So this is our Cash App information. Please donate. Our Cash App information for our July 26th gift to our producer and correspondent, hardworking daily guys on the ground is Cash App. $ TCA 2500. Zelle 856-676-5136. I hope the noise I'm hearing back there is chin-chin, chin-chin, chin-chin. Money coming in, chin-chin. I hope that noise I'm hearing back there is the cash register, chin-chin.
And that's Sylvester bringing out that change.
Bringing in chin-chin, chin-chin is coming in.
What gonna change?
The signal. I'm seeing the signal.
All the change that Jerome come from you, my man.
I'm hearing this. I'm seeing the signal. Money is coming in. Money is coming in.
You got a diplomatic signal, right?
Yeah. No, this was a financial signal. It's coming
Financial signal.
Yeah. From Twitter. No, guys, the money coming. Cha-ching. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the closing argument. With me is our progressive, Mr. Victor Nambe. Chief, how you doing there?
Hey, Jerome, man. Thanks for holding the fort down. It is good to be here. Happy Tuesday to all. Sylvester, welcome, my brother, and welcome to our audience. Thanks for joining us. Share the show, please. If you don't want to share the show, don't watch us. We don't want you to watch alone. Share the show, invite a friend. Come on, let's make it company.
Listen, like I said, this is the best job I've ever had. Because in other jobs, you have to look for your what is it? The gentleman say you got to fight for your living. This one, the news just keep falling in our laps. I mean, we don't even look for the news in our life. Bro, got so much news that we find problems sorting them out. Just before we got
I think the difficulty is staying with the story and following through because the news is coming so fast and hard at you. You tend to move on from one story to the other, but there's some story that I think are so significant. We just have to remember to keep following through. But as to news story, you're right. Every day there's something happening. There's always something to talk about.
The Honorable, I'm telling you, like today we got some of the things. Maybe we have to educate us because you have done so much educating here that it's not making sense anymore. How does a country like Liberia sign a concession agreement with Metal Steel where the Republic of Liberia is allotted legally royalty of 30%? And all of a sudden, some guy sitting somewhere said, either we just drop Liberia's royalty from 30 to 15% without consultation and consent of the legislative body. If we're going to believe this, the legislative body today, when they summon those folks, they are trying to tell us that these people unilaterally reduce our royalty from 30 to 15% without their consent. An educated man like Pewee or like Victor Nambwe, they want you to believe that somebody with an invincible hand reduce the nation's royalty from 30% to 15%. We're going to delve into that. Then Liberia secures a landmark $1.8 billion, right? That's what they're saying. They say thousands of jobs. But in February 23rd, 2024, we discussed here the Joseph Boycott people, this administration were up in arms, popping champagne. The HSP have given them a $5 billion contract that will bring in jobs of all kinds.
And so quick information, that 5 million they were referring to,
5 billion.
Sorry, 5 billion they were referring to was a deal that they should have gone through with the Guinean government some 7-8 years ago. It's an old dossier they brought us.
That's correct.
It's an old dossier. So
that's correct.
Listen, this deal, there's a lot of things, if it is uncovered, it'll be some problem. Serious thing. And I don't think if they did the due diligence before getting into this. Now, how much of that transit? Now, what is the detail behind this first and foremost? It is said that we're going to be receiving something like a transit fee.
Yeah, for going through.
Yeah, transit fee. And that from this transit fee, first and foremost, what are we supposed to learn from it? Now, is it that they're going to be paying $1 or $1.5 per ton? And then if that's the detail, what is it? And the Guineans themselves, this thing was not in the news. Now that it's getting in the news this way, there's information the Guineans are getting apprehensive and they want to know more details about this. Are you going to be spending 1.8 billion in Liberia when doing nothing? They're just passing the oil through them? And why you cannot? So, hey, the Liberian government will have to engage this they have to be very much circumspect as to how they want to do it, or in that there's no major policy decision in terms of this. It's going to backfire. It's not going to be a good thing for the government of Liberia. So we have to do. It's a good thing that you put on the kind of a deal to come up $1.8 billion. It sounds very great in the year, right? And that now, is it that they're moving this because the real, which we saying, talking about first and foremost, what's the percentage of something that they're going to be using to transport through that? ArcelorMittal already have 30%, 30, right? What is it they're going to have? And what is the amount of the quantity of real that's expected to leave from the Monaba side? That's the Monima, right? And that portion of it is close to Nima County. So what portion of it is going to be coming through the country? We haven't seen this thing yet. And the D just came out. Now, the information was first and foremost that they were trying to push my information I got. People from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs they were pushing from the backside of things first that the president should slow down on it. Most of the ministers agreed that the president is not going to sign it. But the Minister of Lands, Mass and Energy did sign this deal. Now, there was mounting pressure on the president himself to sign. I don't know if the president signed it. So we hope to see what's going to happen tomorrow here. And if things were to move good, listen, we all pray that the country will have to strike most of those things. The all usual thing is are we going to need is ArcelorMittal? I'm not sure that we're going to go to court. But are we going to need an independent contractor user to run the rail, or one of those with the operating right going to run it up? So the best way to handle this issue is for us to sit around the table and for the government to do a kind of a negotiation that will impact the country. But if you are to roll into this kind of a thing, the quick fix thing and backfire, it's not going to be a good thing for you.
Victor, I live in South Florida. We have rails of all kinds that go through the city. I've been living here all my life. I don't know anybody that works on the railroad in my city that go through. These people are talking like we are fools here. They talk about thousands of jobs. What would thousands of jobs do? They load in Guinea and they drop off in Buchanan. They load.
And quickly, yeah, before Mr. Nambi second come in, the thousands of jobs, real jobs, is not going to be filled by Liberians. He's a hardest skilled engineer, real engineer you're going to have. Now, ArcelorMittal spent close to $1 billion to rehabilitate the rail in Liberia. Close to $1 billion, $800 million to spend to do that when they came in. Imagine when ArcelorMittal came to the country. Do you know that? That's why we need to take some time and respect ArcelorMittal and work along. They did a lot of things for it. When nobody was willing to come to invest in the country, they brought some pride to us. Imagine ArcelorMittal, when they started in the Republic of Liberia, they started importing crush rock. Do you believe this? Do you believe that ArcelorMittal started importing crush rock to do business in Liberia when they started? Because there was no, I don't know how to call it, the insulator or the rock crusher. We didn't have those machines that would crush the rock. It is the Indian, and that's why the Chinese started bringing most of those things in recent time. But ArcelorMittal came early 2005 at the time. I mean, it's unfortunate.
So we are importing chicken now. We importing rocks. Mr. Nyenwolo, you know, sometimes it's so funny. It's comical. Like Bob Marley used to say, "How can you be drowning and be thirsty?" I hate that. Your take on this.
Yeah, you know the food. How can you be in the middle of the water and be thirsty? But yeah, look, and our responsible authorities, they need to understand. We're only trying to help here. And now that we claiming that, you know, we are the connoisseur of every knowledge available on earth, all we are asking is talk to the right people, get help. Sylvester just mentioned something here which I never even thought about throughout all the discussion. The agreement, are they going to be basing the agreement on per ton, or they're just going to give out a flat rate? I mean, that's something they need to talk about. Are they going to talk about per ton, dollars per ton, and what about pegging it to the stock, the world market? You know, the stock market. If the price of, you know, iron ore goes up, what happens to that? That's something they need. The bottom line is, we said here, and I said again yesterday, you know, they should get help. And I was very happy that when Chief Tomalin reported that while we're discussing this, some of the people in the legislature were asking, you know, what should they do? And I will maintain the first thing is to get help. When they say ratify, they have the responsibility to ratify whatever contract that the government is going to draw up. To ratify doesn't mean to okay. It means to scrutinize it for errors and correct wherever there are errors. So they do have a great responsibility. When the contract comes before them, they can rewrite the whole thing. They can do that, you know. But it is their job to look in there and see if there are errors. And that's where, you know, constitute a committee, give the committee the power to invite experts in, you know, and maybe some of the experts you saw then when we constitute another subcommittee. Who, look, when we were here yesterday, as soon as we left here, one of my friends who is a proven businessman in Monrovia, he texted me. He said, you know, I missed the show, but I'm watching it now, and I'm really fascinated by what you guys are talking about. You know, there's a lot to be done. And I said, yes, they should probably talk to guys like yourself. You know, you're a businessman, you have some ideas. Look, you may want to bring in people who have done transportation, people who have done the kind of various types of experts. There are a lot of Liberians who are willing to help. All this government has to do is liberate itself of this shackles of this little United Party clique. The United Party doesn't have all the experts. All the experts are not in CDC either. They're not in CMC. They're all over the place. You need to draw from all strata of Liberian society, get the help that you need, so that you will draw this thing up so it will not be another fight soon where we get to put 99 years and we get probably nothing on it. We got a larger rubber farm. We can't even make slippers. You know, how about putting in the agreement, let Firestone attach a university, a college to the University of Liberia that will just teach people how to process rubber and sponsor that and have students draw a whole curriculum, students go through that kind of University of Liberia and do various things with rubber. That's something we hope Firestone would have had. So now we have an opportunity to do this. So this is a major deal, you know. And before I pass it on, I was really up on this a couple of days ago, and this is a real big thing for America. They're doing it in East Africa. I understand there's a Libido corridor in East Africa where they have been able to put in place this multi-user agreement. So it's something that they do around the continent, around the world, and they know what they're doing. They know what to get. We can even go to that and take a look at how they did it and then correct some of the mistakes they may have made on that. But they have one of these in Angola that connects DR Congo, I understand, and Zambia and Angola to help, transport the mineral that they're getting. Some of the minerals that we have here. We have lithium here, we have cobalt, we have various minerals that they need here. And these are very strategic to American interests. In spite of all the cuts around the world, these are the places they are pumping money in. There was also the U.S. trade advisor who issued a statement on behalf of the U.S. government that they endorse what APS is doing. So now I'm convinced that's why the president is coming here, because this is a big deal for these people. We have to make it a big deal too. We have to make it worth our while. This is not aid. We're coming to the table now as equals. We have something that they want. They have something to offer. Let's get on the table and negotiate as equals. The government has to strengthen its position. It has to be, negotiating from a position of strength and knowledge. That's what we're saying. And, hopefully they've done that. But from what we're reading, where they're signing these things behind closed doors, dismissing the president, all of that, what is that about? What is that about? That doesn't portend good news for us. That's not good. They need to go back and redo it, and do it well.
Great. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are just joining us, here is our Cash App information for our July 26th gift to our producers, our correspondents, the hardworking guys on the ground. Please use your Cash App, the $, all caps.
Somebody asked me a question. I don't know. I just asking this question openly here. Is it this July 26th? I don't know. This July 26th thing we're preparing to send to the board, or that next July 26th?
Well, it is this July 26th. We have few days. What was it? Today the 8th. We got about another 18 days or so. But we don't want to get the money there on the day of July 26th. The children need food, they need clothes. So let's do it every July 26th. We do this. Let's.
And on a serious note, that is a key thing we have to do for our guys, because these are guys that keep the show running. We have to do these things, But someone was just saying to me, they said, "But the people give me will handle this. Yeah, July 26th for all the boys."
I didn't see the signal yet.
I told the person I saw the signal.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
I told the person I saw the signal, right?
You saw the signal. Okay, guys, listen. While we were coming on, we had a breaking news. And this one goes to the cross of everything we have been talking about. If it's not AI generator, the former President George Weah, in church on Sunday, I want to believe, announced that he is not going to run in 2029. He says he believes that you are at the apex of your energy.
Is it AI?
That's what I'm saying. I say if it's not AI, because these days you got to be very careful. It looks real, and it walks like a dog, but it may not be a dog. You never know. So, if what I saw. If a man is there, you could play that tape again. That have the president making that statement. If you can replay that, we will appreciate it very highly. But it's breaking news. The president said he's not running in 2029. He says at the age 2029, he will be 63 years old. And he believes in our system that at 65, you should retire. He will not be at the apex of his energy trend. And he believes he does not want to be like other leaders that they basically told them to the podium and whisper in their ears what to say, what to do.
I don't know if it is true, but if it is true, the excuses cannot be accepted by me. Right? He's a politician. I mean, come on. 63, nobody would 2 years, right? He's the athlete number 2. 65, 70, no money. We have competent 75. I mean, they agree he's around 75. He's going to retire from politics. It makes some sense to me. 75, right? It makes some serious sense to me. But 63, listen, he's not. And let me send a warning out that if it is true, and I don't want to think that it's, I want to believe that it's AI generated. I want to sincerely believe that AI generated. Now, the first time, but again, I may not put my neck on the line for it, because the first time after the elections, when he commented there, I think that was the time, after the election thing, I went back, click there.
He did.
He did. It's true. Sorry, I'm not recollected quickly.
Okay.
Now it's true, right? That was the time he just lost the past elections, and he spoke in the church immediately after the election cycle. So that is not an AI generated video. It's true. He said that at the time, but he ever since retracted the statement due to other state public statement. He retracted that. He retracted that. Yeah. That was the time he said, "Oh, he's not 60. He'll be 63 at the time, and he don't want to be." But no, let me say this to Mr. President: that politicians don't retire early. No, you don't. Politicians retire maybe around something between something 5 to 80 years old. It's reasonable because it's time that you call off. But we still have some very competent something 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, even something 8. Look at, for instance, look at President Donald Trump. President Donald Trump is currently 79 years old.
That's
He's
correct.
still as vibrant. I can challenge that.
Oh, yes.
If Donald Trump were to go to debate with some of our young leader who be having the real stuff, he can crush them.
Of course.
He can crush them. Donald Trump is very alert, and very, very much up to the task to be president of the world most powerful country at the age 79. So he's going to be 80, I think 82 when he retired. I mean, when he end his second term as president of the United States. And I believe between now and the next 3.5 years, Donald Trump is still going to be more vibrant and more alert. And he's the most consequential element in the world we have today. But he don't play the conventional style of politics. He's very effective in what he do. So, Mr. Weir, you have to take notes from that. And more or less, Donald Trump also is an athlete because he do play golf. He doesn't play golf for business making, but he plays golf every day. So he himself is an athlete, right? But Joe Weir is more an athlete than Donald Trump. I want to believe he's still doing the kind of line. But a good part of Donald Trump, the other flip side of it, quickly, Donald Trump does not drink. He does not smoke.
No.
So he does not drink, does not smoke. And I don't think we are smoke, but we are taking.
Excuse me?
I said I don't think we are smoke.
Okay. Well, there are different kind of smoking now.
I mean, I know that now, but I do know that he take in alcohol.
Okay.
For some to the Bible says even wine, alcohol is good for the soul, right?
That's right. Well,
even my son used to take a wine or red wine, other thing. I don't know. They know the brand leader that I know publicly could smoke as President William V.S. Stockman.
That's correct.
Now he told that the grow progressive will tell us the grow boys.
That's right. He got the man got some right there. There you go. Show me.
Yes, the guy now show you the one, right? You see it? Yes.
Victor, why you think someone is putting that video back into circulation at this time?
Yeah, first of all,
that's the problem. Go ahead.
Sylvester is right. I think the president did say that in the early days of his loss, and he's right too. I think he was so smart from the defeat. And, we all know all of the stories that are coming out, how the president felt, that his guys, they didn't work hard enough, all of that. So I think he was upset. So he did say that because I think he was still trying to, kind of suck it to them, like our Liberian post said. But I'm waiting for Chief Tomalin. If it's not verified by Tomalin, it's not true. So I'm waiting for Chief Tomalin to come in, But I also think that this is a dig at the current president, considering his age. For the president to say, he believes at age 65, you shouldn't be, working this hard as, president of Liberia. But yeah, he did say that. But ever since he said that, he has done things that indicate to us that he still enjoys the trappings of the presidency. And it's all clear to me now that he will be running for 2029, given some of the things when he started fighting over the VIP lounge and all of that. He still enjoys coming in, and people meeting him on the tarmac, red carpet and all those kind of little things. He enjoys all of that. So I think he will be coming back. So, but I'm waiting for Chief Tomalin to come and confirm. Now, saying about Trump, look, first of all, we want to see Trump, maybe, I don't know, 2, 3 seconds, 5 seconds, 6 seconds at a time in a 24-hour period. He's having memory loss. There are a lot of clips of him You understand me? Going off
Recently?
yes, going off the deep end. You know, in spite of all the steroid, the pumping in him and all of that. Yeah, Joe.
Mr. Namwe,
You
I
know,
don't think so. I don't think that.
I'm a diehard.
Today's the 7th cabinet meeting since he took over. Prove that, and some of the cabinet meeting run for hours, and he's vibrant. He's alive. No, listen. You may say what you want to say, but I think Mr. Trump.
no,
he's on top of the games
I agree with you.
in terms of being vibrant.
Pewee, this man is a liberal. He's a Kool-Aid tree hugging, animal protection liberal.
Trump is
one of the most
So you tell
consequential
me
presidents.
you haven't seen the clip where Trump is in one city and he greeting people in another city. So for
Listen,
instance, into the Georgia.
everybody does that.
Oh, everybody does that.
Yes,
How you be in New York? No, Philadelphia.
Hillary Clinton was in Kansas and she thought she was in Albuquerque. When you're going from city to city, they give you this script, right, to read.
Yeah, so therefore script reading.
Somebody give you the wrong card, you read it.
But where you know that the president is alive, unlike Biden. When Biden was president of recent time, Biden will go somewhere he don't even know what he's saying.
Yeah.
Well, honestly, let's be frank, Mr. Nambe. Listen, I may not like the politics 200% of the Republican, but they get the job done. Now, if you are to follow Trump in recent time, all of the time he spoke now to the press for his second term. For the few times he spoke to the press for the second time, it more than the 4-year Biden in office. The time Biden spoke to the press.
Oh yeah, obviously.
It doubled the time Biden was in office for 4 years. Trump had been there for 6 months. Trump speak to the press almost every day. Trump is on the microphone every day. Biden didn't do that. Listen, Trump is more vibrant, more alive than you think Biden is, and I think
I agree with you.
I can say this, yes, more very alive. See Trump moving towards from Marine One to Air Force One. He's moving majestically, but Biden will be moving like a zombie. You see that kind of way, that's right. I mean, so you know that way.
I think that let's not mistake aging. You understand me? Which is
now the same thing, man. 3 years between the two men.
Let's not. No, I was gonna say let's not mistake aging with early onset of dementia. I think Joe. I mean the book that this boy on CNN wrote. I haven't read it, but from the excerpt,
Jake Tapper.
Jake Tapper wrote. But it sounds like Joe is in the early stages of dementia.
You think so?
I think so. From the stuff that, So Trump, on the other hand, I mean, I agree with you. He's pretty vibrant, especially compared to Joe Biden. But look at Bill Clinton. Bill Clinton is way older than Donald Trump, and
no, not way again. Bill Clinton is 1 year older than Donald Trump.
Well, that's way older than him.
but 1 year Donald Trump still on Bill Clinton.
But listen, I give up with you two on the aging business on Donald Trump. But I'll be honest.
Bill Clinton 80 years this year.
I think President Weah is going to run again.
Yeah, he's going to run.
And we all need to prepare for that. Those of us in the CMC, we know he's going to run. We know he also has a specific percentage of the electorate locked in. And if that stays as it is, he is always going to be into the runoff. And so we are preparing for that. So what is going to be left is the rest of the percentage that he may not have locked in. That's what we are going to fight over, so that we get a lion's share of that percentage and run with him into the second round. The one thing we also know is he's bad at second round politics, the runoff politics. Yeah, he doesn't know how to manage whenever he's in a runoff, and we know he has failed in that. I think on two different occasions, and so we're making preparation for that. But as to the declaration, I think he's going to run. And I think that was something he did say way back, but I don't think he's thinking that anymore.
Yeah, but let me correct that thing quick before we move forward. Trump is even already Bill Clinton a year.
Is he?
Bill Clinton is 78 years old, and Trump is now June 15th this year,
There you go. All right. Thank
Sometimes,
you, AI. Thank you, AI
It's
Sylvester.
all
Go
right.
yeah,
ahead.
yeah.
That's what
So
that's what it's here. Hey guys,
yes,
real
yeah.
quick.
So Trump is 1 year
But
of
Bill
sitting.
had a heart attack now. Trump didn't have a heart attack. You know, Bill, that African man, eat KFC and all of
But
that.
anyway, but no, I think it'll be months because Bill Clinton turns something now in August
Okay.
Man,
next month, and Trump is already something now. So they are buddies.
The
they,
buddies.
Yeah,
they
Trump is older than Hitler. How many months?
And you know, Bill, he go for that thing,
Two
you know.
months.
Bill that the ladies man, so he ain't got
Yes,
time.
yeah. So
Bill Clinton, even Saturday Night Live used to have this thing about Bill Clinton running where he's stopping at the McDonald's and eating all kinds of burger, drinking.
Yeah.
He eat all the rotten food and he drink Diet Coke, like the Diet Coke will help him. He got a heart attack. But
Bill
guys,
that dominating women's scheme.
let's let's look at he called himself the first black president. So here we are, guys. We say
and the man hit West almost though. Older than hit West just 1 year.
oh
Yeah.
yeah, the man is okay. Okay, guys. Official response: Stan fires back at Gregory Cuomo. He said we will not obey lawless police threats. July 17th is an unstoppable day for the people. So the police, Gregory Cuomo, is trying to intimidate the crowd by uh, putting on Facebook and social media the new police car, the new army car, the hot water truck, all these things. They are posting them on TV to intimidate the folks and calling them names and saying that they are illegal. All of these things. Stan is saying as long as they are legally within their rights, they will not allow the police chief to intimidate them. Victor, you and I have been at this thing for a while. We know how this thing go, how it ends. We have been at the other receiving end of the police brutality. Gregory Coma is taking a page from that era. As you know, I told you, I said Joseph Waga wants to be Letutman. He wants to have absolute power. And Gregory Coma sees that. Gregory Coma wants to be the police chief that fire on the rights protesters, kill few, kill several of them, and think that would make them to disperse. But he had it the wrong way. He killed several folks, and the problem never disappeared. I think Coleman have never learned from history.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen the lit exchanges between Coleman and Molu, but I think it would be a mistake if a police director is taking pop shots at Molu. I think what that the least the least you want to do with Molu now is to elevate him, because right now he's looking for all the attention to hype up, the oncoming protest. I think engaging him now will be a mistake. And engaging him during the protest will also be a mistake because, like I said, you're only going to elevate his pedigree. Uh, the police really, they're not. They shouldn't, and I think it's a mistake when they begin to look on ordinary citizens who are trying to gather together to express the constitutional, right as enemies. These people are not enemies, and let him take a page from Musa Ding. My good friend Musa Ding, uh, uh, friend Musa, he actually, he probably in recent time one of the best, responses from the government to the protesters. Where it is reported, I wasn't in Liberia, but it was being reported widely that he actually brought water and brought food for these people, and instructed the band to follow the people and entertain the people. And that's how it should be. These are, you don't go in there adopting this kind of posture of, you're going to contain them, you're going to subdue them, you're going to force them, subject them to your will and all of that. They will not do it. And then there's going to be a struggle, and at the end of the day, you will end up depopularizing your government and popularizing the protesters. Just a little strategy he should think about. It doesn't serve him any good to antagonize these people. If anything, he should do the best he can to accommodate them. Bring the AFL band out, let them accompany them, let the people come out in the streets and express themselves. There's nothing wrong with that. It's part and parcel of the democracy. You know. Let them come out. Don't give them all these veiled threats and do this and do that. You don't really need that. You know, let the people come out, give them the space, make sure they are orderly. That's all you need to do. Form a ring around them, walk with them, make sure they don't break branch. They don't go and break into people's store and start taking people's stuff. And breaking up stuff. Don't let that happen. And therefore, you ring them in and walk with them. Stay, be in their midst. Let them have their protest. Let them read what they have to read. Let them say what they have to say, and call it a day and go home. But any attempt to contain them and try to subject them to your will, go this way, don't go that way, I think it will backfire. And I think I'm really urging him not to do it.
Pewee, for some reason, there's something intrinsically wrong with us. I don't know. I mean, is it African thing or what? Here we are in Kenya. We've seen dead bodies all in the streets. And in Liberia, 1979, we saw bodies sprawled all over the place. Young people, old people, market women. They just shot randomly and they killed people. And they thought the problem was going to go away because somebody told the police, when you shoot one of them, all of them will run. That's what they thought. And look where we are at this point. And Gregory Coleman, the name Coleman, the name, if this man doesn't understand history, the name Coleman, I don't know whether he's a real Coleman but whatever the name is, the name Coleman.
Yeah, he's not representing that name right now.
Coleman and his son were chased, shot, and killed by President Tubman because he said he wanted to run and dispose President Tubman. And President Tubman chased and killed Coleman and his son in cold blood. Said they were trying to subvert. They were trying to overthrow his government. Kill them like animals. This is the same Coleman. This is the same Coleman that sent somebody in Cape Mount, King John, and killed people there. And the excuse was we saw somebody in the crowd that has something that looks like a gun, and our people shot by only to turn around and go compensate the folks. Why history keep repeating itself, Mr. Pewee?
The unfortunate aspect is that we have not, and that's why I say it's unfortunate, because we will have to learn from history. If we cannot learn from history, then we will keep making the same mistake over and over and again. And by that, the country will not progress in terms of changing the livelihood of the people of the country. Now, having said that, the basic reason is that most of our paramilitary or military forces in the country are not loyal to the country or the constitution of the republic. They're not, but they are rather loyal to regimes, and this is quite unfortunate. And that's the most alarming and counterproductive aspect of this is that the same people that were recycled yesterday, some of these people, and it's part of the reason why we bring partisan relationship into the governance issue, and that does not impact any major policy decision making in the country. Now, if you were to always bring about partisanship instead of nationalism or commitment to be patriotic to the country, we do things that way push the country backward, and those backward kind of attitude is what revolving, and that's one of the things the professor said yesterday. The landed professor said, sometimes we need to bring these kind of a disruption to change situations. It's very unfortunate. Now, the reason why Gregory Coleman is doing what he's doing is to further justify the instructions, or to further justify his performance that is being considered by his boss, the president, right? So everything he's going to do is in keeping with what the regime or puppets of the regimes want him to do. Now, so most of those puppet masters, the puppet and the puppet masters, both will join in trying to perpetrate this kind of a situation against the people of the country. So what we witness in Kenjo, or what's been witnessing across in other areas of the students' community trying to protest for something reasonably within their constitutional right to express their grievances toward the constitutional authority. It's all meant to suppress free speech. It's also meant to send warning to them that we will come down hard on you if these things were to repeat itself. So it's not going to change, and it's unfortunate. And that's one of the reasons why folks in this kind of a rogue regime or regime that are suppressive will always appoint this kind of a people that will just do the bidding for their leaders. And then certain reason. So Gregory believes it's the job that he's going to keep. He continue to behave the way he's behaving, and that thing. But other the way to change the line, we have to play by the rule of engagement. And by the rule of engagement is that the leaders, those that serve in those paramilitary institutions or military institutions, if you will, like those paramilitary institutions like the police, the immigration, the DEA, the fire service. So, do we have these people performing their statutory responsibility within the confines of the laws of their country? If that's the case, then it would be the best thing to do. But no, it's not the way. They are performing those responsibilities in keeping with the vision and aspiration of the way the president sees them. So, and that we're going to continue in that path if care is not taken. So, the best way to do that, we need a leader that will come and devote himself from personal activities versus allowing those that he appoints, all of his lieutenants that he appoints, to be loyal to the Constitution. So if the leader himself is loyal to the Constitution, took oath as he took to protect, he loyal to it and abide by it and confronting to the means of the Constitution, trust me, those behind him that he appoints will follow suit. But other than that, we're going to be in this for a very long haul. And this long haul going to be for the protracted period of this government going to remain powerful for the next 4.5 years. Probably it may change the next elections after we see a more reasonable, organized, and structural government that will be elected by the people of Liberia.
But that way, under the Guar government, they were so liberal to the point where at some point you felt like there were no we are having what's going on here. Hey guys, in the background, we're seeing Truth FM, Sports FM, Real TV ad.
They just changed the graphic work behind it. That's some.
Yeah, guys. I mean, can you see me?
There's some. Yeah, I can see you. I can see Mr. Nangbe. Can you see me?
Nope. My screen is totally blocked.
I don't see any of you. I only see myself. I don't see any of you.
Oh, but then I see both of you.
You seen the signal, my man. You got a special signal.
I'm seeing the signal, and I'm seeing that the video, everything. I'm seeing everybody, and I don't know if I mean block my camera now. I can. Yeah, I'm back. I can see. Yeah.
Okay, now I see the two of you.
Yeah, I can see us in line. And,
yes.
The Renaissance Communication Inc. The ad is there.
Yeah, I see Truth 96.1 and all the things.
Yeah. So if the ad is here, maybe we are on.
Where is Myean? Is Myean
around? Somebody saying they don't see us. When you look in the comment section, Dr. Howard Jones says we don't see you guys.
They said they don't see us.
So we are preaching to the choir. We're talking to each other here.
I was just about to say maybe I'm going to wear off my because it's raining here heavily, but not from here. It's from that end.
Yeah, right. But if it's raining here, most likely it's raining there too.
Yeah.
No, man. At this thing, what you say? Anyway, sorry. Big raining season town outside.
Yeah, big raining.
Actually, it is raining in Monrovia like really heavily.
That's the reason.
Yeah, right now.
That's the reason they say being raining there.
Right now it's 94% chance of rain, and they're expecting about 0.06 inches of water. So it's raining, and it rains. According to this, it rains up to right now. It's around 11 p.m. in Monrovia. It is raining up to 3 p.m. tomorrow, 5 p.m. evening. It's gonna rain all night and all day tomorrow.
Okay, I just got the signal. They say they're working on it.
Okay.
So if you can hear us, that's fine, Dr. Jones. If you can hear us, that's good. But guys, while they are working on, when you're not good looking, they don't want to see you. So I see they're trying to make us look good. It's all right. Gentlemen, we have here with us document according to Front Page Africa shows that ex-foreign minister Kamia didn't receive Saudi rights funds. Money was paid directly to the vendors by the world food, by the Saudi people. So this debunks my own bastard brother, Mr. Va, that have accused, that went on radio in Bassa, accusing the former foreign minister. And it says here, the foreign minister, let me see what it says here. It says here, corruption allegation made against former minister, Foreign Minister D. Maxwell Kimia Sr. are being contradicted by documents and testimonies obtained by Front Page Africa, contrary to claim by former Assistant Minister for American Affairs Maxwell Va. Financial transactions tied to Saudi rights donation were not handled by Kimia or the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but were paid directly to the vendor through vendor Fuata Corporation. Va recently accused Kimia of misappropriating a total of $4 million in foreign assistance, US $2.5 million from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, the country of Saudi Arabia, and $1.5 million from the Kingdom of Morocco, allegedly meant for food aid and renovation of the Ministry of Headquarters.
Jerome, can you go by say 1.1 million? What from Africa saying that 1.1 million?
Va recently accused Kimia of misappropriating a total of $4 million in foreign assistance, $2.5 million from the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, and $1.5 million from the Kingdom of Morocco, allegedly meant for food aid and the renovation of Ministry of Headquarters. The claims have since sparked debate and drawn public attention, but new evidence reviewed by Front Page Africa appears to clear Kimia of wrongdoing. In 2022, September 2022, the government of Saudi Arabia transferred the amount of $2.5 million to use at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and $500,000 for food aid, US $2 million for the restoration of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Va stated in an interview when he came from the General Assembly, the Minister and Deputy Minister, Madam Thomas Duncan Sawyer, hid the information from us, he says. However, a thorough review of official documents, correspondences show that the Saudi food aid came in the form of rice, 29,420 bags and 12 bags of 25 kg, valued at approximately $425,918. These goods were not procured or paid for by the Liberian government, but were arranged and financed directly by the Saudi authorities with Fuata Corporation serving as the vendor.
Okay.
In a letter dated May 10, 2023, addressed to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia, Fuata Corporation General Manager Omaru Barry confirmed receipt of the fund directly from the donor, requested a balance payment to maintain the amount. So here we are.
So the amount of the 500,000 for the rice, the report says that it was not done by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, but rather
No, it came directly from the kingdom.
Yeah, there's and sometimes I'm trying to get Va to get his side of it, because if the news report is trying to debunk what he said, is troubling. But there's this letter that I received that also stated here that it came from the Saudi government. And and that's a good side of the report. Is also saying to us that we have to go to the other end of it and verify that, and that the 500,000 was directly from the Saudi to the vendor. The amount is the ambassador of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Abidjan presented its compliments to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Liberia and has the honor to inform it that the request of Liberia have been approved and the request of the amount now and have been approved and the amount of 2,500,000 US dollar will be disbursed for the government and and divided as follows. So probably they said the amount of $500,000 for full aid. And then the amount of $2 million United States dollars for the restoration of the building of Liberia Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Now, and the point there is the fact that Maxwell said, and these are number words, Maxwell stated it, that the 500,000 were meant for full aid and the rest were meant for the restoration of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs building that was in shambles, if you will, if not complete shambles, but I needed some a serious facelift, if you will. Did the report, the Compass Africa report, also talk about the $2 million?
Yeah, they gave the breakdown of the whole thing here. In fact, did
the foreign government also, the Saudi government also transmit that $2 million into a vendor that renovated the foreign ministry account?
That's correct. That's what it says here.
Because there's a report also that money went to the consolidated account. So what is that? Listen, I agree that maybe some of the information Maxwell gave may not be correct, but we need to get all of the information on that. If the information starts to slip and break into the way, it may be a terrible propaganda for the government, for the ministry authority at the time. Now, if that amount went to the consolidated account, did the Saudi put the money in the consolidated account and withdrew the money and presented to the vendor?
This is what it says. The VAR claims that 1.5 million from Morocco was misused. Also lacked factual backing. According to document, insider accounts interview, the Moroccan government managed its contribution entirely on its own.
Okay.
Funds from the renovation were neither sent to the Liberian government nor routed through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Instead, the Moroccan government selected a contractor through its own internal processes and paid for the renovation work directly.
And that quick before you continue, the reason I'm saying this is because I got some information. I've worked with the ministry before, right? So with that issue about the Moroccan government, to be honest here speaking, I was at the time I have just returned. I was in and I attended a meeting that the Moroccan government did send a delegation to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and there was this guy that came to do the inspection before they can resume construction work. And I can vividly recall I did the interpretation because he spoke French 100%. Then he spoke French. I did some interpretation there between he and the minister then. So yeah, I can attest to that aspect of the report that the Moroccan government sent engineer that came in because we went upstairs on the 6th floor, toward the entire 6th floor where the president used to be office. The office of the president was hosted at the time, and then we toured the 2 elevators also that they sent out to what would do the elevator. So yes, that I can speak to. I would agree because someone came from Morocco, engineer, to do that assessment. It was the basis of that assessment report that the Moroccan government received and the movement. I was not there now when the renovation started, but yeah, that is a point. So you rightly answer that aspect, and I can speak to that the Moroccan government did send a representation and we interacted. I personally interacted with that fellow also. Now, the $2 million from the Saudi government for the restoration of the ministry, what happened to that? Because it was part of Maxwell claim also.
Yeah, it says here all renovation projects, whether funded by Saudi Arabia or Morocco, were visibly completed and officially celebrated during the January 17, 2024 dedication ceremony. Then President George Nyenwolo presided over the ribbon cutting,
Okay, Chief, let me hold you there again. So that means that I'm telling us as to how they used the $2 million for the restoration. The $1.7 million from Morocco, yes, the Moroccan government found their own contractor that I can speak to, and I think I saw the conversation.
That's correct.
They're not telling us where, because there's information also that the money, the $2 million, and it's $2.5 million. The $2 million, but now they're saying the Moroccan didn't send that other $5 million. They sent it straight to the vendor.
But this is what it says here. On the matter of the alleged $2 million in Saudi funding for the Ministry for Renovation, documents show that any renovation support provided by Saudi did not pass through Kenya or the Liberia Ministry of Foreign Affairs. The renovation contract was handled by MDMC, a Liberian construction firm selected through the public procurement and
who paid that construction firm?
Huh?
Who paid? Where did the money come from to pay that Liberian construction firm?
Through the
consolidated account. I don't want to know that. It came from the consolidated account, or the payment came through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs account?
Let me read it here. It says, on the matter of the alleged $2 million in the Saudi funding for the Foreign Ministry renovation, documents show that...
I'm receiving some messages here asking me to ask these questions because we're not on the show. But the first thing you did that I confirmed that the Moroccan engineer that came, that's true. The Moroccan may have funded the renovation of the 6th floor, because the Moroccan took care of the entire 6th floor. Only the 6th floor the Moroccan took care of.
Okay.
I think they took care of the elevator too, Sylvester, right? The elevator.
I think one of the elevators, we have 2 elevators there. One is exclusively used by the president, at that time by the president, and one for the general staff. Now the administration, one will be used by the minister, and one. So yeah, one of the elevator but the elevator, I think the elevator was to do. I don't know, they brought new elevator.
Yeah, I'm not trying to cut you off, Sylvester. I was at the foreign ministry. We did a tour. Mrs. Sawyer took us on the tour because they were concerned that these guys from Spoon at the time carry a lot of story. Closing acumen, all of that. So Mrs. Sawyer they had 2 brand new elevator.
So they brought 2 brand new elevator?
2 brand new elevator, and one of the elevators works without even when power goes, it still functions. We're there.
Okay. So those elevators we had, they changed them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was 2 brand new elevators brought. Yeah, that's what the Moroccan did. Yeah, that I can speak to. That's why I can speak to that.
Yeah.
Because I was in that meeting when the engineer came in the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So that is true that actually the Moroccans gave that contract themselves. So my point was headed to the $2 million that was given.
Yeah, but this is what the according to Front Page after viewing the document, the renovation contract was handled by MDMC. But they say here, further contradicts Mr. Va's allegation that Deputy Minister for Administration Thelma Duncan Sawyer had no ownership interest in MDMC.
Va is asking questions as to who paid that Liberian company. Who signed the money to be paid to them?
That's right. He says.
Did Africa mention that?
They said he said in his article the accusation was that the company that the money was paid to had Ms. Sawyer was part owner of that company.
Okay.
And the documentation here says that was not true. This is a company that went through the PPCC process, won a contract, and it was approved by the Saudi and paid. There were no interest, no connection to Mrs. Sawyer. So this is what. So if you can get in touch with Mr. Va, and he can provide evidence contrary to what Randy C is saying here, we'll be glad.
Yeah, I encourage you to come out.
First of all,
one minute round. What we'll do, I will push to him to see if we can get him on. He wanted waiting, and he come in probably sometime this week.
That's what I was going to suggest. If he shouldn't be sending questions to you to ask.
That's what we're gonna do to get him on.
He made the allegation, and he was wrong. He was wrong. He was wrong because he said that $2.5 million were sent to the foreign ministry. We know that's not even the process. That's not true. And then he also said $500,000.
No, Raul. No.
One second.
No. I come in.
No, one second.
We're not quarreling. Without
Sylvester,
quarrel,
no,
man.
but let me land.
No, you hold on. No. It's not. It's true. Why you say that information is true?
You let me.
He's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's not wrong on that.
Sylvester, let me.
He's not wrong. It's $2.5 million. He's not wrong.
Sir.
Now you can go ahead. Go ahead. He's not wrong. He's not wrong.
When I'm done, you can interject.
No, yeah, go ahead.
Thank you. He's wrong because
he's not wrong. Don't get misleading information. He's not wrong.
$500,000.
He's not wrong. It's $2.5 million. The total amount the people gave. He's not wrong.
I'm asking you: was $500,000 sent to the foreign ministry for rights, or was it sent to a vendor?
$2.5 million. $2.5 million.
That's what I'm asking you. I'm not asking did the foreign ministry receive $500,000 to procure rights, or did the donation come directly from the Saudis? That's what I'm asking you.
The communication that came from the Saudi embassy said $2.5 million to the foreign ministry. Okay. So that one will take that. We take that serious.
So
we take the communication is $2.5 million.
If $2.5 million was sent to the foreign ministry, I'm specifically asking: did the foreign ministry receive $500,000 to purchase rights in aid, or did those rights come directly from the Saudi government? He said the Saudis sent $500,000, and the foreign ministry was the one who procured the rights. That's not true. That's not factual. And when this is not only coming from West Africa, the facts are there. So it's one thing to say $2.5 million went to the foreign ministry. It's another thing to say which of that amount was for rights purchasing and who did that. So he's wrong when he said $500,000 went to the foreign ministry and insinuating that the former foreign minister, but it's clear that he did not $500,000 about rights. The rights were purchased directly from the Saudi government. They did that themselves. The foreign ministry had nothing to do with it. This is factual information. And Mr. Bond knows this very well because he works in that particular ministry. I'm trying to figure out why did he just put that information out there as if $500,000 were used by the foreign ministry to purchase rights. Two, if there's any question about whether or not $2 million was spent on renovation, what happened, and I think what's happening here is there's some internal beef going on. It's very, very clear. This happens all the time. Where when we work with people, right, and things don't go our way, and everything is over with now, we start to speak up. If VAD thought there was something, a sinister going on, why didn't he say something then? And now he's putting out all this information that don't appear to be factual. The foreign minister did not receive $500,000 about rights. Those rights were purchased in an amount of about 25,000 bags of rights. It came directly from the Saudi government. This is open information. So what is he talking about?
Given. Let me say this. I know sometimes I've seen he going full throated, and sometimes you calm down. You go full throated with issue that in diplomacy you listen to what the host or the sending country is saying to you, and that's what I said. He may not be wrong, but the way this issue went on. Given I just sent you the voice, and I say read that and go through that note coming from the Saudi embassy that is near Abidjan, informing the Ministry of Foreign Affairs so how much to get. Read that. So the Saudi government itself is saying we got $2.5 million. This amount is going to be send your account details. That is a diplomatic note coming from the Saudi government. This is that if they change in the middle of things, what do you do in that land? Come and inform the people that this $2.5 million that we initially said we were sending to the foreign ministry account, we will now send $2 million and we will procure the rest on our own. That's what they should have done. They didn't do. Then you will fix it by that. But the diplomatic note is saying here we are sending $2.5 million in the ministry account. If that is the diplomatic note citing and going in, it will be taken that those that are in the institution will believe that their amount actually went to their account. Now, what I'm trying to do, I don't want to be sentimental. I'm trying to help even the ministry fix the problem that they're trying to go into. So, but that, wait for me. I didn't interrupt you. Wait for me. And that's one of the reasons Gamer has said to us here, the money the Moroccan used to do the renovation, yes, the Moroccans sent her own engineer. I can speak for the minister on that because I was in that meeting. I even interpreted that day because I'm not French. He was speaking. I did an interpretation that very day when he came. We went on the 6th floor. We assessed those elevators and the rest of that. But the amount here, I'm concerned to seek clarification because the initial amount was saying $2.5 million to go in the Liberian government account. Then they were going to move. If anything changed, that you're not putting 500,000 no more, and you're going to procure it, that should have been communicated. Sometimes we don't just, the intent is not to steal, but when we go about the communication, that's one of the reasons somebody says people take it on face value. And that's what I'm saying, that he may not be wrong because the amount in the diplomatic note says $2.5 million.
So Bester, if you allow me,
Can I say something, Mr. Goodman?
One minute here. Let me make some clarity here. This information does not say. It said the money will be. It didn't say that it has been disbursed.
No, they said provide the financial information and we'll the money.
But listen to this. Listen to this. It says here, the embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Abidjan presents its compliment to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of the Republic of Liberia and has the honor to inform it that the requests of Liberia have been approved and the amount of $2.5 million will be disbursed for the government and divided as follows. The amount of $500,000 for food, $2 million for renovation of the building. Accordingly, the embassy would like to be provided with the bank detail of the account of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Liberia.
Asking for detail, can we send the money?
Listen, so that it could take the necessary action regarding the transfer of the amount of $2 million to its account. The embassy of the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia in Abidjan availed itself of this opportunity to review the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for its Republic of Liberia, the assurances of its high consideration. So this is what it says here. The money will be, at the time, this was September 27, 2020. That's when this communication went out. But we don't have any proof whether the money was sent out.
That's right, yeah. This is like that communicator is. So they didn't eat any money. I believe they didn't eat money, but they didn't communicate appropriately.
But apart from that, man, apart from that, you just read something when they asked for the account, says so $2 million can be transferred. So if the whole amount is $2.5 million, my contention, and no one has been sentimental here, right? What I do understand is, and what I don't like, is that when we work with people, it's important. When something is going on, and we think that it's not in the interest of the country, speak up then. You can do so in a very professional way. You don't have to continue in the same nonsense.
No, right? you can be in government and be speaking against government.
Yeah, then you know what you do? Then you know what you do, Sylvester? You know what you do? Leave the government. Leave. Don't worry about.
Oh yeah, I agree with that. I agree.
Wait now. If you think that the closing argument is involved in something that does not represent the closing argument or the larger audience or whatever, it's not in the best interest, and beyond that, it does not align with your own core values. So now, I'll disconnect completely. I will disconnect, and then I'm going to start talking. What you don't do is, you're a part of the system, you benefit from the system, and you see no issue whatsoever. As soon as it hit the fence, and you're no longer benefiting from the system, then you become the voice of reasoning. I don't respect that. If you have a problem with a structure or whatever, and it does not align with your own principles and your own core values, get out, speak out, and you have the moral voice to continue to do that. Clearly here, what I'm saying is, $500,000 did not go to the foreign ministry, and this for rice purchasing. It was procured and paid for through a vendor directly from the Saudi government. This is factual. The corporation and the vendor have clarified and confirmed that information. So Guar is still wrong when he says $500,000 went. He has confirmed that $500,000 went to the Ministry for Food, indicating that the ministry will bear with the responsibility to purchase rights to distribute. That's false information. It's not right. That's what I'm saying. So he should come on this platform so we can ask him some questions. He should send you questions back and forth. It's facts. We're not making this up. We're not assuming this. $500,000 did not go to the foreign ministry. They had nothing to do with the rights purchasing. It was procured and paid for directly from the Saudi government. It had nothing to do with the foreign ministry. This is factual stuff. I'm not making this stuff. We all know this to be factual. So how can Bob not know this to be true?
But can I come in there? Let me say here, guys. I think this asset recovery team, I think they need to do due diligence than just getting around here, arresting people, putting them in jail, without doing the due diligence. I don't think they are taking time to do what they need to do to gather all the facts, and that's why in this country we know the federal government. When federal government land a charge before you, you cannot deny, almost impossible to deny, because they take the time to do their due diligence. They have all the facts, everything done. But these guys are just up for flow, what the Liberian man would call flow show, or to impress. They're not doing their work according to the book, but they are doing it to impress. So I don't know, they need promotion, or people can say they're working or doing something. You saw how they had this whole rush of carrying those people, putting them in jail before the judge even signed a pre-trial order, pre-trial release and stuff for that. They just took them, ran with them to jail, sent armed men, surrounded their homes, and took them to jail. I don't think what they're doing is fair. It's totally deny them of the basic rights. So this is complete nonsense. They need to do the due diligence so that when they bring somebody before the court will know that, yeah, this guy committed a crime. I'm not going to grant. But they're just going about arresting people, and the next day everybody gather for. That's nonsense. They need to stop that, because they're all over accusing this man, Mr. Kimia. He took 500. That rights thing. The deputy speaker is involved. He took almost 7,000 bags of that rice. Thomas Fowler.
Thank you.
President Boaga, they ordered some of that rice go to the cleanup campaign team.
But that's what he did after the campaign. Where the rice came from.
Exactly. Yes. Other people were involved, and then you just go about. You didn't do your due diligence. Oh, we'll land this man. I think it's unfair, and that's one of the problems we have with the rule of law in our country.
But apart from that, the letter of Sylvester, Mr. Nyenwolo, the letter that was addressed on May 10th by the general manager of Funtu Corporation was addressed to the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia. So think about this, Sylvester and Tomalin. If the foreign ministry had received funds to purchase rice, why would the vendor not be addressing a balance of $13,000 to Kimia, the foreign ministry of the government of Liberia? Why would not be done? Why did do that? It makes no sense. I think these guys they're trying to listen. We're all against corruption, and I'm telling you, where the facts lead, if they can convince us that these people who have been accused are involved in corruption, send them to jail and throw the keys away. What I don't want political witch hunting and bluff. You putting these people in handcuffs, but you don't have the facts to prosecute them. You're wasting our time. You're wasting taxpayer time because they are affiliated with political opponents and you're trying to weaken your political. That's not how you fight corruption. You should fight corruption based on the facts. So if you got $2.5 million and 500,000 supposed to go to rights, why would the vendor be writing the Kingdom of Saudi Arabia? It's a fact. The foreign ministry had nothing to do with how these rights were procured and paid for. They received them. We should be talking about whether or not these rights were properly distributed and whether or not the people who it was meant to benefited from it. But don't talk about whether or not the money was misappropriated, people stole money, the rice wasn't purchased or the food wasn't purchased. It's all lies. It's all lies.
Mr. Nyenwolo, here it says here, the renovation contract was handled by MDMC, a Liberian construction firm selected through the Public Procurement Concession Commission, process in line with standard government. The process was overseen by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Justice, Finance, and Development Planning. Documentation review by Front Page Africa showed that Myean was not a signatory to any financial instrument or contract related to the renovation and had no administrative role awarding any of these contracts. Furthermore, contrary to vast allegation, the Deputy Minister for Administration, Thelma Duncan Sawyer, had no ownership interest as claimed, and there is no record linking her to any procurement violation or ethical breach. VAR claims that $1.5 million from Morocco was misused, also lacked factual backing, according to the newspaper investigation. According to the document and outsider and insider information, Morocco government managed its own contribution entirely on its own. Funds for renovation were neither sent to the Liberian government nor routed through the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Instead, the government of Morocco selected a contractor through its own internal processes and paid for renovation work directly. All renovation projects, whether funded through the Saudi Arabia or Morocco, were physically completed and officially celebrated during January 17, 2024 dedication ceremony. So here we are, all document. The investigation shows that everything my young brother from Bassa that I support our life very well is totally wrong. It's not backed up by the fact, by the document. They're all here. So when you tarnish people's reputation, it's almost impossible. They say you cannot unring the bell.
Yeah, let me welcome your three Bassa brothers too, Robert, Tomalin, and Henry. Henry just left the set. And let me also thank my friend Philip. He's all the way in River G. If you notice, I was showing my water. He was asking whether that fake water I'm drinking on TV or whatever.
So, he know that you are a bourgeois. You're not drinking that water from River G anymore.
We Megan to So I thank him for watching and for confirming that he could see us during the technical glitch. But look, I don't know much about this.
You get fake water?
Yeah.
No, my son brings this from Wawa. This is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm supposed to do, people normally, everybody's supposed to only like you come on show, you won't bring the classic water. No.
I know, right? And
Lofa Julius, right?
Robert only drink Perea water.
There you go.
And we'll get to that different day. So go ahead.
I don't let Robert. But I was going to say,
Sylvester gets so excited. Save that bad thing, Sylvester just love my name. He gets excited when I start talking. We'll face that thing, my brother.
You see, you want me to listen. We didn't bet, and there was nothing really. I knew that the bet. I knew that the bet was a bluff. I knew that you're not prepared to 20,000.
But this might be a good time for that.
I never told you something. I knew it was a bluff.
TCA can get low percentage on the bet.
But tell me, but Raul, I knew it was a bluff. Why are you taking 20K to come better? I knew it was a bluff.
Mr. Number, give me 10 seconds. So, Sylvester, maybe you don't know me. We need to hang out. I don't bluff.
No, it's a bluff.
I don't bluff. No, listen. I don't bluff.
I knew it was a bluff.
I tell you right now. Tell you right now. Because I know I'm not losing $20,000. I will wire $20,000 to Ben Sanvee. Easy. I'm not bluffing. I don't bluff.
Why have to be Ben Sanvee?
Why Ben Sanvee? Why Ben Sanvee? Why not me or me? The men that winning it then. Why you sending money directly?
I'm the recipient. I'm winning. So.
Yeah, you're not sending it directly.
I'm the recipient. I'm the recipient.
You on the other hand would have lost $20,000. Do you send the money to Ben Sanvee? I'll do that. I will do that transfer right now. I don't bluff.
Why Ben? Why Ben? Why Ben?
Because I asked for Mr. I asked Ben, Professor, and Mr. Number. Ben said,
look, listen, and I still stand by that. I still stand by it. I still stand by that. I still stand by what I said. That news about the 20,000 was just a mare, and I'm no bluff about
it's not bluff, my brother. I don't bluff.
It's a bluff. Listen,
what is the need? Does Ben Sanvee has a bank now? What the bank need? Sanvee International.
No, but he offered to take it. He offered to take it.
Yeah. So here's what I said. I said instead of no, I didn't say. He said not saying I bet him. No, I'm not moving for that. Trust me. But here's what I said. what I said to you was that I tried to pivot from that debate a little bit to be more sensitive. Now, the reason the sensitivity that I brought to bear was to say, hey, how can we be discussing accountability, discussing the untold suffering of the Liberian people, those destitute people we have? Then we have the kind of money and that bet on somebody being part of a warring faction. Now I said, no, let's remove ourselves from that thought. Let's remove ourselves from that thought process and just take 0.0% of the east side we have. Since you must talk about the bet, I have spent close to $400 to help different people that are struggling. Let not bet. Let help people. I told you the woman last time. Let's get something to that woman. That woman cry. We shouldn't bet the money. Because I don't need the money. I don't need it. So that gets something to the people that are suffering.
Sylvester.
I don't want bet.
Sylvester.
Sylvester,
let's not do this.
Okay, guys. Let's see.
Mr. Kevin, allow me, please. Sylvester, this is one of the biggest.
So if it is not bluff, let's do it that way.
Wait. You cannot. I won't allow you to sit on this platform. My name is Robert Garguah, and tell me, you want me to come here and talk about how many people are blessed? Do you know that?
No, that's what I'm saying. That do it that way instead of betting.
Wait. Do you know that I spent 10 years of my life as a young man giving back to Liberia? We've educated over 5,000 up to now since COVID-19. On every semester, you know that I've been sending money to Liberia in the region of $2,500, $3,000 to pay school fees of folks. Do you know that we built 2 public libraries in Rock Hill community? Do you want me to say what I'm talking about? When people
you been coming now. There's one news.
When people say things, Sylvester, you have to be accurate what they say. Don't misconstrue what I say. And it wasn't about the bet. It was about you doing your due diligence and say, you know what? This is what Robert said, and this is what I thought Robert said. So I was going to eat the money and then donate it to your favorite charity so that you learn a lesson next time to be accurate on what people say. Don't misconstrue what I said. It wasn't about the bet. But I can't come here every day and tell you who I've helped, Sylvester.
So, Jerome, I would take Jerome.
Yeah,
I would take
Robert, get him in. Let's move to the next topic.
What you just concluded on just now?
You talking about $400? That $400 money?
I tell you what you just said. What last one you said about cash out? What you said about cash out?
$400 what?
That moving the next topic, man.
That chicken team for the man.
$400 what? $400 money.
I'm not talking.
In terms of helping people. In terms of helping people.
I haven't responded.
I can tell you how much I spend on a weekly basis. I help people.
I
help people, but I can't come here and tell you who I help.
You are not talking about cash app, Jenna. What you saying? But you want cash app me?
No, I'm moving for you, man.
So let me say that. No, I'm going to take a few seconds on this. I mean, it's not your first time, Raul. I know. I'm not saying about what you did, what you haven't done, and so we heard this before. If not the 99th time I'm hearing it today, I applaud it. Right on different platform that you heard people you said it before, right? So maybe this will be the 100th time today hearing it. But listen, we don't play, and the reason why I was saying quickly to us that we should not move on the bet. Normally, I don't do thing at bet. I don't do it. I don't do it. Now when you say but I believe in the sufficiency of my evidence. I believe in the sufficiency of the evidence. And whenever I say something, I try to them. But listen, we're not coming to.
But you were wrong, Sylvester. You were wrong.
We're not coming to.
Okay, guys.
You were wrong.
Last 2 seconds.
Let's move on.
Last 2 seconds.
I'll let you.
You said things here. Mr. I'm going to come here. Let me let on this quickly. In the few seconds. Last 2 seconds I would take. We don't beat our own drum.
But no one bet. You were going to say you spent $400 to help people.
We don't beat our own drum. But beyond the line of doing,
about what we spent
beyond the line of doing,
we all help people a lot.
Beyond the line of doing, issue will play about. The only thing I was trying to play on us, I was just saying it jokingly that day, say, hey, we can't bet because that bet will not come to fruition.
Why not?
It won't come. If I would win, maybe you will take. How many you take to pay? You don't pay. You don't get me to pay me $20 million.
Okay, guys.
I mean $20,000. You don't have that money to that pay.
We all don't you.
Tomalin George, real quick, Robert.
You
not pay my money if I want to pay. You not pay me.
Hey guys,
I will
let's
not
move
pay.
to the
I
next.
thought I was spending money, so I will not pay you.
Robert,
You're not spending.
let's move to the next.
I will not get my money now. How to take the code again? I want to take the code.
Mr. Tomalin George, we'll be waiting for you.
I want to tell my the code. Say, oh, man, tell the code.
We'll be waiting for you to make comment on this. We just saw a video. We know it's an old video that the president said he's not going to run 2020.
That route and made the president better than
George, a lot of people want you to calm the nerve. You in the president in the circle. Yeah, we know it's an old video. We just play it. Where do you think the president stand now as far as running for the presidency in 2029?
The former president.
The former president. I mean, he'll be. As far as I know today, he says he's running, coming back. What he says, in fact, I mean, that video you're talking about that people said that video was made right after the election in the church.
Yeah.
Yeah, and at the time he said it, but they had a rally. The CDC had a rally called I think the dude rally, right?
Yeah.
And you listen to his speech, he said, "We are coming back." He kept saying it, right? So, I mean, that video, when I saw that video, I said, "No, that old video," when he made that comment. So, by the way, the former president is in the U.S., he's in New York. In fact, he watching the guess of FIFA, I think. He watched the game. I think today Chelsea play, right?
Yeah, Chelsea
played. No, Chelsea won. Chelsea qualified for the final for Sunday.
Yeah. So
mighty blue Chelsea.
Yeah, Chelsea is in the final for Sunday. So Chelsea will be meeting either Real Madrid or Paris Saint-Germain for Sunday.
Wow, that's a big game. Yeah, but he'll be at the final. But so that video you all shouldn't give it no. I mean, that video was made right after the election.
Yeah, so that
temper was flaring, everybody was not happy, and so forth. And so I remember that day when the president conceded, when we came outside, people were crying, everybody was crying. I saw a man Snow crying, everybody crying. When I look, I said, "Ben, look at our man crying." When the president said, "Oh, you're crying?" he said, "Election we shall win. Election we start on election. If any beating and you're crying." He said, "When UP lost election 2017, I just was doing too. So next time we'll do what we need to do." And he just said, "Oh, man, he said election is over. We lost the election, So, but as of today, I can tell you, I know he still stays running. But what I can say too, I think I was talking to people today. We were talking earlier today. Right now, I will say this: no, anybody thinking about I see people running around, people up and down politics. No, right now that's not a game. 2026 any to 2027. That's when you start to you see things taking shape. But right now, anybody see they go somewhere called rally, is it a crowd? They're not person. I think they understand politics. Okay. So is it Myean talk all but some of the things I see happening in the last few days? People just gotta stop joking. When things take shape, you see what will happen. Things will change. So one thing I've got to understand is that they crowd politics. I don't get care about the crowd though. The crowd. If crowd politics were it, when CDC ran against Marasali, then by now CDC will won all elections because CDC came out and drove, they shut down the city, shut down the country, basically, with the crowd. But when the result came, I said, especially the second round, her second term, where she won. I all got problem with the first term or the first election, 2005, but 2011. I said, yeah, she won fairly. I can tell you that she won fairly because she had the numbers. She did well her first term, so it just helped her. Our second term where she really messed things up, but so I see. So right now, I really not care about politics right now with the people. All we do right now, we'll just be talking. But if I were in a political party or strategy room, I'll tell them let's focus on building our party. Let's focus on building our party, going after the first-time voters who will be voting 2029. The young people, let's talk that the people should target right now and build up. So when it comes to 2026 ending, 2027, then you start to understand where the whole thing will go. Because right now, anybody look, some of the people that are running around, I can tell you by the end of the year, some people that will fade. They will fade. You say that they're Vla, right? That's all we're just watching it. Because now you're a veteran, You've been in the team longer than other on us there. You've been understanding. You know exactly that how politics work. So I don't think I know you're not carried away by and then when you see things, you're not carried away. You just letting things flow. Which I know, Mr. Gamer too. You know, and you should all know that right now, nothing to carry anybody who say, well, the election will be held today. Because when it comes to that point, things will change. Because I can tell you, there are about two more parties coming to announce that they'll be giving the NEC certification. Okay, and you know there's a threshold before you launch you get a certified party. You might have about 500,000, I think, supporters or registered member of your party. I think setting a mind in each county. So people will still be forming parties just to get at that table. So right now, just to finally conclude your question, President Weah, as far as concerned as of today, I know he's running for 2029, as far as he said.
Well,
Great.
thank you, Chief, for confirming that. I said that. I say if Tommy comes here and says otherwise, and then but I trust your sources, and it is not lost on me that you're talking about crowd politics after the crowd we pull in Banga recently, but it's okay. You
Wait,
can
wait,
go
wait, your
take
poll.
it. Take it.
I didn't want to go there because there's people running around. He don't
You
want
can
one
go,
person. He
you
don't
can
want
go ahead and
one
take it,
person
Dick.
going. He don't want one person going around.
You can go
He's
ahead.
trying to say,
But
Musa
I'll
will be here.
I'll I'll have to agree with you too. I think the crowd thing is just for bragging, really. And I think it's all about the ground game. First of all, registering your vote to vote during the time of registration, and then getting out the vote on elections day. And then of course, making sure you got enough poll watchers to secure the vote. I think those are major factors that we should all invest in. I agree with you. All the crowd, your crowd is bigger than my crowd is bigger than your crowd. I think to me, from all indications, that's not what gets you, the victory. I absolutely agree with you on that. And therefore, yes, all the parties focus on organizing, 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 reach out to your people, make sure you get them ready to go and register, get out to vote, secure the vote. But let me talk to my two brothers here. Right now we have fundraising. So this bet thing I break
Man,
on.
thank you.
Yeah, just give it a
Thank you, man.
yeah,
Hey, come on, Bobby Popo, you man. Right now, we're trying to get these guys to have a nice
Just a
26.
26. We just looking for
Yeah.
26 money.
So the kind of
That,
money
that 20,
Robert wants to
that
spend.
20,000. We don't want your whole 20,000. Just give us 1,000. We be good for the 26. Don't wait for. We don't want
So,
20,000 here. We just want 1,000. Well, ladies and gentlemen, if you are watching the show and you are a fan of this organization, this platform, the people that make us look good every day, they are on the ground in Liberia. The young men, they go to places, even the motorbike that people donated. The roads are so bad, they need maintenance. Okay? They need everything. These young men need boots, they need raincoats, they need microphones, they need recorder, whatever they need it. But especially this 26, their children, their family deserve small things. So let's make their 26 good. Please make a donation to our Cash App. The information is right here for the July 26th gift. It's going directly to our producers and our correspondents on the ground. These guys make the news. They set up everything. When you see Myean to the courthouse or the Supreme Court running all over the place, he's basically doing it on his own. So at least we can show some appreciation. The cash out number here is the $ capital TCA 25,000. Is that what it is? No, 2,500. That's why it is 2,500. And the Zelle is 856-676-5136. Please do us a favor. Whatever you send is going directly to these young men and young women. Dr. Peabody, do we have any ladies on our staff on the ground in Liberia, or we have to recruit?
Yeah, we just did a trial with Samson. In fact, Samson, the only person that get paid, but even up, we still in the deficit, have not paid him for a month. And Myean pretty much does things for. He's all over the place, and that kid is in school. He do a lot of. He does a lot of graphic, a lot of the internet, and all of that, and he just ruling. Basically, it has been the generosity of just people helping and stuff. So, if you guys want to help guys to keep up with
You going in and we going in and out. We can't hear you.
I say if the guys, Samson is the only person that we have on the staff. But even with that, we still owe Samson his 1 month salary. And Myean basically is always all over the place. And he's our graphic man. He's our IT man. He does a lot of work with this StreamYard and other things. The StreamYard got to be paid for on a monthly basis. In fact, we just pay for that StreamYard per day.
Doc,
yes.
can we here's what I would suggest though. Can we probably we'll the 26th. This is not the first time we've raised funds for the guys in Liberia, but for the other guys that are on like stopping and like the stream guy, I think we need to really have a behind closed doors meetings to understand what the cost of these monthly things are, and see a way we can better share that cost, because I don't even know how much we pay for the StreamYard, for instance, right? I don't even know how much Samson makes on a monthly basis, right? So perhaps we need to look at those things so we can better structure how we all contribute to that.
Because basically Samson and Myean have been the bone. They have been the backbone for this whole thing. They work.
Yeah, so,
what he's saying is behind closed door, we need to come up with
we're going to talk about it. So like the Samson paid monthly salary, the Myean, whatever honorary, the cost for the StreamYard. At least it's not fair for one person. You just said you pay for StreamYard. It's not fair. So let's talk behind closed door and really put this together where we can say, okay, this is a monthly thing. This is what we can all contribute for the monthly thing. That's something that we'd love to help with. You know,
we need an annual budget, guys. So we know exactly for the year what it's going to cost us.
And I think that's a very important point, Robert Strategy. Behind the scene, you got appreciation as to what to do, and you can plan that appropriately.
Exactly right. Because it's not fair for that people to say, "Hey, I just pay for this." We don't know what Sam's saying. These guys are working. We
don't want to wash our dirty clothes.
No, exactly.
On camera, guys. Let's
we want our fans to who.
Oh yeah, for the season, for the season, but the regular season, don't be anything.
And Mr. Martin Willis, thank you very much for contributing your little thing, and that's good. We like people to send their little thing. If you need helping, we are here. Tomalin, they say you can come up with some money there, 500,000, whatever it is. That's through the membership. But
election. I'll talk about election. The parties, political parties.
Oh, okay. So here we are.
There is a question, Jerome, about whether there is a send wave, and I think other people might be interested in the Zelle, if there is.
Yeah, Zelle. Do we have Zelle?
Yeah, there is Zelle.
But Peabody, if we can get one of those guys from Liberia, like the Samson or Myean, or one of those guys, they could probably provide a send wave for the folks who want to send $50 Liberian dollars or $100 Liberian dollars in Liberia. You know what I'm saying? And we can, But let's talk behind closed doors sometime.
Yes. Yeah. And gentlemen, this is it. This is the battle of the Titans. The battle of the Titans. This is Samuel 12 versus Garguah. We are talking some big stuff here. Now, you see why the indomitable Samuel 12 is vibrant. This guy, I don't care what you say about Samuel 12, the gentleman is brilliant.
I'm sorry, Jerome. I know we will get to that, but this is about fundraising. Someone is asking, how do they make contribution from Australia?
The Sendwave, if they don't have Sendwave, we got Cash App. Cash App is right here.
But Zelle is international, right? So, do you have to have a U.S. account? I don't think so.
So
I know my friends in Liberia who use Zelle. They have a U.S. account.
Yeah.
If you can get to Susan Wange she's very good at it. She gets a lot of funding from everywhere. People send money. She will help us out.
Okay.
She's in
Yeah.
Australia. She
Yeah.
will tell us how people can donate, and then we'll go from it. But I think SendWave is international.
Yeah, and also let me say, when you send NM payment, if you want, we'll call your name. We try to call people names, and we don't have to call the amount because everybody want to know how much they send. But if you send the amount, we'll call your name. I mean, once you contribute, we'll call your name, and we usually uh we do this. We have been doing it for the last 3 years, and have been successful. All of us on this platform live in Liberia, and we know what they call 26, and people look forward to coming for that day to come. And I remember when we sent the last stuff to the guys last day, they were so excited, and it came right in time, and I was happy, that we were able to bless them. So, let us, like we said, let us make them happy. We got less than about 2 more weeks, 3 more weeks, less than 3 weeks to help them. $5, $10, whatever your amount you got, you don't have to. It's not no taxing something. Get $5, $10, $20, it will all help. At least let them have something at least to take home to their family and say, well, how I would do all the time. Because right now it's in the night like bro, you see, but they're up. So they will be that's how we do when we come in the night. But we appreciate everybody, and it's like as somebody said earlier, we do a budget, it's good, yeah. Because the other day the president of Grand G there, they said, our correspondent, they said usually when the president's speaking, you can go put something on his shy, like a mic. So they said no. They want to. We had to end up getting some kind of mic. And the said just for him to be able to do it from a distance. So a lot of things come out, about again, like Robert said, good suggestion, Robert and Mr. Gimmett. We will know we're going to come out with something and we can take it from there. But we appreciate, man, everybody who give, please, let's make them happy.
Good.
But Myean, I want to play some video. Myean, can play a video for me, please. So give me please just play the video quick. The government, this government been toward transparency, but then there's money that was left over from the COVID funds and so forth. The Minister of Finance, our own friend Gafwan, authorized the payment and with all legislative approval. So the question is being asked, why? Who authorized? Who gave the authorization? And when I think when 12 was finance minister, they asked him to do the same. He refused. But now, so Gafwan, that's why when they were talking about this money, it came about. So investigation have found out that the money had already been expended. They already used this money, and I think they got remaining 1 million something left over. But they already used this money, and the government about transparency. But then, why aren't they haven't been transparent about it? That's an issue about they talk about this COVID money that left over WFP and so forth. So that's why if the front page had to do the investigation to find out what's happening, they came up with that. And also today, I think earlier you talked about the information minister. I don't know. I've not found time to listen to him, but I was told that he's saying that I don't know because the law says you help me before the president signs any document, any concession, any legal document, it got ratified by the legislature. But he's saying that he said all the way around. So the question is, can the president sign? I mean, can they do it twice? The question they were asking. And
No,
that's why you see, like the meeting the president going to tomorrow in Washington, and people are concerned because they asked Manan Salif. We're just on the phone a few minutes ago, me and Peabody and somebody, and they said Manan Salif was asked today. They said, "What do you expect tomorrow from the Oval Office?" He said, My guess is that I really do. We don't know what's happening. Everything's been done in secrecy. Who know what we expect tomorrow? What Trump will say? What Trump will tell Burger and the other African leaders? We don't know. So everybody eyes are on Washington tomorrow at the Oval Office to see what we hear from that, because the issue about HPX. I think Lofa posted something about it. It's true. The former State Secretary of State for African Affairs, he's a member of the board of HPX, and so you know that they have interest in that rail. So tomorrow we're going to find out a lot of things will happen. We'll be alert and to find out what's going on. But the government signed a deal in secrecy. I know the boss for HPX was telling me say that it was ludicrous for me to say that. I said, well, why it was open? Why you said when you sign this kind of big agreement is like a joy ride. You guys run with it, everybody run with it and celebrate. But why the one is in secrecy? Why is being tight-lipped?
But what is the essence of rectification by the by lawmakers when when you already have a contract that is been announced by your partner? The U.S. Embassy just didn't announce that a $1.8 billion deal was signed with the Liberian government. So you already have a figure, $1.8 billion. All of the terms have been discussed, have been signed. You would think that the ratification by Congress will be done, right? Before signatures are fixed. So are they going to send this to Congress? And if they have any rectification that needs to be made, then go back to HBS and ask them, well, Congress does not agree with this. We need to change this. We need to alter this. And then we need to have a new signing ceremony. Maybe people can expound on this, but I just don't think it makes sense. Which again goes back to this whole thing about, I think that Joseph Boakai was forced to sign this deal, even if it meant doing so without the proper that you need to before these deals are signed, right? It just doesn't make sense to me, to be honest with you. If HPS already have in their possession the contract the government signed, what other rectification you need from Congress? Because any rectification from Congress means that this deal is invalid. You need to go back to the drawing board and sign another contract based on the ratification. So I don't understand what sense it makes.
Well, listen, you just saw the American budget, the process from the House to the Senate back to the House. They did the scrutiny, the ratification. They did all of that. The signature of the president, if they found action on anything contract bill, it's not the other way around. You don't sign it, then go debate it. It doesn't work that way. So this is why most of these folks, when you go to Liberia and you're talking, they think you are condescending, because that man who is the information minister knows absolutely nothing. All he knows and trying to be a liar, or he is a liar. How can you sign a contract that is binding? The president.
Careful now, that your brother basketball. Careful.
No, listen, don't make me go there. Don't make me go there. Because I was going to tell you that there is no Basel man in Apia, but he's a Basel man. But this is this is what I'm telling you. You cannot sign a binding contract. A binding contract, then later on say we are going to debate it. It makes no sense. You don't have to be a lawyer. You don't have to be a diplomat. I am here. I just got my contract to sign. Okay? The accountant, the bookkeepers, everybody have gone through it. I can't do this by myself. The guy in Miami called me and told me that the numbers add up. Everything is okay. Go ahead and sign. When the guy finished with the scrutiny, right? My responsibility, what am I supposed to do? All that. Once the liquor department signs off on it, all I have to do is sign, because I know I have touched all bases. I'm the last person to sign, and it's binding. I can't go there and sign a contract and then later on send it to my lawyer and the accountant, the bookkeeper, and the auditor to look at it. It doesn't work that way. So these people think that we either, I know they are talking to Liberians on the ground. They think Liberians are all crazy or stupid. It doesn't work that way, Mr. Pewee. I mean, these are the kind of things that really piss me off. You are muted.
That is a normal thing we would have to do if there's a contract that needed to be ratified by the legislature. The legislature will go and go through the ratification process. I don't understand why that didn't happen, or if there was a kind of a legislative proceedings that may have been done before, and just this time around need the president approval. Now, why we do celebrate? Now, listen, the other side of this thing is that PHX. I slipped in the news. PHX, right?
I don't know Harvin Ho now they call them.
Harvin Ho.
Sorry, HPX. HPX is a very reputable American company, and that I agree with the U.S. Embassy disposition on that, or position on that as well. It's a reputable United States government institution, but and I also agree that this is an institution that do follow the good business proceedings in terms of operating in our country. Now, most of the time they're going to focus on it's going to be big. They're going to be operating out of Guinea, but the transit fee that we're going to get, we need to know the details of that. We know a $1.8 billion deal is not a small fee, and I don't know why the government says not running with this in terms of as a major public relation for the government. This is an extraordinary development that needed to be celebrated. It's a very big deal for the government. But I don't understand why do we have to wait for the embassy to do the work for them in terms of informing the Liberian people, because the constitution of our country is clear that the people, the government should inform us as to day-to-day unfolding events of the country, right? So I don't really understand, but there stays some room around. So I don't want to be definitive on this one. I want to be a little bit circumspect here and give them the benefit of the doubt, because there's this information that is not clear that the president actually signed. I'm getting some information the president may not have signed. That's what I'm receiving also. But it is obvious and clear and confirmed that the Minister of Land and Mines did sign this deal. That's what I'm hearing. So I may also be wrong to that the information I'm getting is not accurate, because.
But what if the minister say that they come and provide job, so he misled the country?
So that's what I said. The information dissemination of this entire.
And here are the steps. The IMCC negotiates on behalf of the government, consummates and sign an instrument, which they've done. The IMCC, through the National Investment Commission, transmits or submits the instrument to the office of the president. The president signs and then submits the instrument to the national legislature for ratification. The legislature, both houses, must deliberate on the proposed instrument. They will then conduct many hearings, including public hearings. And the legislature, if deemed necessary, ratifies the instrument and transmit it back to the office of the president. The president will then sign and transmit the instrument to the Ministry of Foreign Affairs for publication into handbill. The instrument takes.
So I don't know if we heard.
I'm confused there, because he's saying that I thought it is this way. The legislature ratified the document, submit it to the president for his signature, and once the president sign and fix the signature on it, is published, send the foreign minister to publish into handbills. But he's saying that the president will sign, send it back to the legislature, ratification, and then back. I'm confused. Y'all help me there.
Yeah. So what happened in the case, and that's what I was saying just now as I was informed. So what is unfolding here now is that the Minister of Mines did sign this letter. I mean, this deal. And then what they're going to, and that's why they're going to, I knew they would have left a wiggle room, and that's a smart game to play if that's the way they went about it. But if it is established that the president signed, the president cannot sign, you send for ratification again to the legislature. No. That is counterintuitive, and I don't understand why one want to do that. But and that's why we need to press more to get the information. I want to believe the information is going to come out soon and immediately after tomorrow's section with the most powerful man on planet Earth. That we're going to see now that we're going to be key in terms of getting the details behind this thing, as to what are we getting from this. It's just on the basis of now. They say at 1.8, the initial thing was $5 billion that they agree with the Guineans on past time. That has considerably dropped off. So if it is women paid that signed this contract or this deal in anticipation that they will go to the legislature, they do the ratification, and then goes to the president next, then he finally signs. And then when the president signs, then it's 40 a law. But now to be 40 a comprehensive law, it will not have to go to the Minister of Foreign Affairs, where the Department of Print and Publication will put it in the official gazette, then that makes a law. So there's a lot of things I'm not understanding. There's a lot of concerns that we need to check on.
Listen, it just doesn't make common sense. You don't have to be a student of government to understand that certain things just don't make sense, right? Right? I mean, what is the essence of rectification? Rectification is to get something correct. It's to look for errors and fix them, rectify them. So if a package, if a deal have not yet been thoroughly read, right, thoroughly deliberated for possibly errors, what is the essence of affixing all of these signatures only for if it's a proposed deal? Why don't the deal go through ratification? All parties, government and partnership, after they answer all of the necessary questions and everyone is happy and we've connected all the dots, then you sign the deal as official. The president signs it. He sends it to the legislature. Then the legislature rectifies, sends it back to the president. Then the president re-signs. So what is the essence of the first signature to begin with? It just doesn't make sense. This is part of what the professor was talking about yesterday. When Mr. Torgbean was on the show, I asked him, why do you think as a country, after more than 20-something years since Bolas running out, why we have not made serious progress? Do we have a shortage of intelligent people or smart people? What is it? Because we do things that we don't have common sense. There's a reason why you have rectification, and Sylvester just explained that. But to hear the Minister of Information, outline the processes, it seems backwards. It seems backwards. Meanwhile, the partner, as far as they're concerned, already have a signed contract. So whatever the verbiages are and the terms that was agreed and signed, from their perspective, that's what it is by law. When in fact, we still have a process to go through as far as the legislative rectification and all of the other legal processes that are required to make these concessions legally binding. So what sense does it make? It doesn't make any sense. I will close on this note. For me personally, I don't see how. I think getting this deal right is more important than a meet with the president at the White House. This is why Steve emphasized the last time. I am not excited for an invitation. What I'm excited for is what do we stand to benefit from an invitation? If the president goes to the White House and he's given a red carpet treatment and he meets the president and they do a photo op, what's next? How does that benefit Liberians? Does it improve the private sector? Does it improve the healthcare? Does it improve? Does it create jobs? What are we going there to talk about? What are our interests there? We don't have any interest. All we know is the president was invited. The president will meet. How does that benefit us? We need to get our act together and we need to start. Our foreign policy needs to be centered around our core values and what it is that we want from our partners when it comes to trade, when it comes to infrastructure development, when it comes to what Liberians can truly benefit from, not all of the other craziness.
But let me come in here, Mr. Gilman. Let me say this.
Go ahead.
I said this yesterday, and I've saying this today. The old people have had a saying that patient dog eat the fattest bone. The parable. Let us wait and see what happened tomorrow before we jump to conclusion. But I think the U.S. Embassy have given us some clue. They talk about $1.8 billion signed. So I don't know who's saying the truth here. I know the American do not lie. They will not
No,
lie to us. They won't lie. So they made it very clear because we know they are transparent. They made it very clear to the Liberian people, even though the government went about doing it like somebody was running behind them and stuff like that. But I don't know what bill they're going to send back, what's going to be signed, or all of that. But I want to wait and see what happens tomorrow. What comes out of the meeting tomorrow? I want to wait and see what happens. Maybe it'll be good for the Liberian people. And I think then President Parker deserve it. He deserve it. Even if something good comes out, it's something that we should all applaud him, and for coming up with something great. But I don't think it was a mistake if Uncle Sam comes in it or Uncle Sam Steph in it. I don't think it'll be a mistake. I think there will be some level of transparency. Not 100%, but there'll be some level of transparency. But let's wait and see tomorrow what happened, what the whole trip is about, and bringing about the only most important is that getting beside who want to run for another term, and his term is over, want to run. He came to power through a coup, and he's considered very corrupt in his country, but yet instead he's coming to the US to be guest of President Donald Trump. Those are the people there. But again, let's wait and see. Donald Trump has a new way of meeting with people now. He bring his little slideshow there and put that video on, and everybody sit there and look at it and stuff like that. So let's wait and see what's going to happen tomorrow. Let's wait and see.
So Dada Peabody, let me ask Dada Peabody this question. And I want Liberia to succeed, right? And I want this president to succeed, contrary to those who think that I'm against the president. No, I'm not. I'm against policies, and I don't trust this president because he hasn't given a reason for him to be trusted when it comes to leadership. But I want him to succeed, and I will be ecstatic if he came out of that meeting tomorrow and something happened. But let me ask you this question: don't you think we should be doing it the other way? Don't you think that Liberia should have a plan when you go to these meetings based on foreign policy and partnership? We should already have a plan as to what we demand, what our interests are. We talk about $5 billion initially. Now the government, the U.S. embassy said 1.8 billion. How did they get from 5 billion to 1.8 billion? What did we present to them? So when people have this skepticism, right? They're not as optimistic when it comes to these meetings. I think they earned that because the government, not just Waka, government after the other, have not shown that they are prepared, that they have a plan, they have a foreign policy prescription when it comes to these international deals. It's like anything we give you, you must accept. But what they're taking from us is way more than what they're giving. So we need a plan. You can just go to a meeting and say, let's hope something come out of the meeting. No, what's the plan?
Well, guys, it is clear there is a big division even in the United States. This lady by the name of Laura Loma, she's a very good friend of the president's. She was concerned about what's going on, and she wrote the president and tagged all the big wigs in the Republican Party. She tagged Senator Ted Cruz. She tagged Marco Rubio.
Jerome Gaiman.
she tagged it. We saw the signal coming, but it says here, the U.S. President Donald Trump intensified efforts to curb China's global influence through tariff and tough rhetoric. A storm grew brewing over controversial rail deal in Liberia involving Ivanhoe Atlantic, formerly HPX. The deal, critics claim, is being pushed by elements within the U.S. State Department in a manner that contradicts American strategic interests, potentially handling influence over critical mineral resources and routes through Chinese-linked companies. One of Trump's outspoken ally, Laura Loomer, took to social media to raise the alarm, tagging high-profile Republican figures, including Secretary of State Marco Rubio, Senator Ted Cruz. Loomer posted an investigative article by the Floridian headlines, Trump's Golden Age at Risk, pro-China deep state in State Department accused of undermining America's interest. CCP-backed firm to sabotage U.S. supply chains. The article claimed that some U.S. State Department officials are pressuring the Liberian government to approve a rail concession that will remove ArcelorMittal as the operator of the Yeke part to Buchanan Railway and grant access to Ivanhoe Atlantic, a newly rebranded company with reported link to China firms. In response to inquiry from Front Page Africa, Ivanhoe Atlantic denied any inappropriate involvement by the U.S. official. He said Ivanhoe Atlantic, like many U.S. companies operating in foreign jurisdiction, has the commercial advocacy status under U.S. guidelines and appropriately supported by the U.S. Embassy. Notwithstanding, no U.S. Embassy staff or U.S. government official was ever a party to the negotiation with the government of Liberia. The company said in a statement, can you imagine, rather than inviting in new infrastructure, Ivanhoe is accused of pivoting its strategy towards gaining total access to ArcelorMittal's existing, fully operational railway, an asset the Luxembourg-based steel giant has invested over $800 million to construct and modernize. According to report, ArcelorMittal currently employs about 3,200 Americans across Alabama, Ohio, Texas, and has spent $100 million in U.S.-made equipment for its operation in Liberia for this year alone, just in this year. By contrast, Ivanhoe, which operates primarily in Guinea, have made no comparable investment in Liberian infrastructure. The company's effort to link Guinea mines to Liberian rail and ports amid existing Chinese railway port access deal in Guinea have raised alarm in both Monrovia and Washington, D.C. Critics say Ivanhoe gains control of Liberia Railway. It could provide Chinese-backed firm access to strategic Atlantic ports, further expanding China's reach across West Africa, where it already holds mining strongholds in Guinea and the Democratic Republic of the Congo. Ivanhoe is also in joint venture with China, with a Chinese mining company in the DRC. In many ways, Ivanhoe interests and Chinese interests are one in the same, said a U.S. State Department official familiar with the situation. So here we are, guys. A company has invested $800 million to build their railway and everything else, and these guys are trying to basically strong arm. How do you feel? How would the United States feel that they invest a huge sum of money, and then someone comes, uses strong arm tactic, and forces the president to sign a bogus deal? So Liberia will be liable. Mittal can sue Liberia. This is a major breach of contract. Robert, your take on this?
Yeah, but this is what. Listen, this is not is unique to Liberia. You know, we apply this in our lives, and I'm sure we can all agree on this, right? You know, because the way you allow people to treat you, that's how exactly the way they're going to treat you. If you lack self-respect, you will not get respect from others. If you do not present yourself in a way where people understand what you truly worth, people will not give you your true wealth. This is just the reality. I mean, it's not just it's not applicable just to government. If you don't respect yourself, people will not respect you. And you know what? Respect is not, it's not just given. This is a factual statement, it's a factual reality. Respect is earned. It's earned. And you know what? We have the right as a sovereign nation to once and for all say, in as much as we've had this history with the U.S. when it comes to foreign policy, when it comes to our history as two nations. This is 2025. How can we continue to foster that relationship, right? But with a caveat. And that caveat is we in 2025 can no longer just accept what the United States is giving us. They can still be one of our closest allies, but we've got to really say to ourselves, this is what we want. This is what we deserve. What we are giving must be equivalent to what we are receiving. We have not positioned ourselves that way. We have settled for handouts. When the U.S. embassy said in their message yesterday that this is our strategy to transition from aid to trade, I believe them. But I don't think that we are demanding what we deserve. I would have been excited had we gone from $5 billion to at least $3 billion. I would have been excited. Do you know what $3 billion can do if we're properly invested? But from $5 billion to $1.8 billion, and then we're going to Washington D.C. without a plan, and we're still hoping that something comes out of it. What do you expect to come out of Washington D.C. when you don't have any expectation? In these meetings, there have to be expectations. There have to be negotiations. It can't just be what the U.S. wants. And you know what the U.S. is doing? They're very smart. They're very smart. They understand the potential and the fear of China and Japan. They understand that. So can we have our cake and eat it too? Of course we can. We can. The U.S. can remain a close ally, but we can also pivot to see what the Chinese and the Japanese are offering us, and if it's within our interest, if it benefits us, we can go the other route. But the U.S., like Liberia government after the other, have presented themselves too small, that we don't deserve anything, that the U.S. is a very powerful country. Of course they are. So we cannot have any position when it comes to foreign policy. We got to rethink that. And this is going to put us in a deeper mess because you already have a contract that reward AML 100% access to the railroad. How are you going to sign another contract that gives SPS another access? How do you explain that legally? So it just doesn't make sense. We need to take our time in these negotiations, right? We need to connect all of the dots, and we need to make sure when decisions are made, they are made in the best interest, in the absolute best interest of our country, and they align with our foreign policy goals and objectives. We have not shown that, and until we do that, we will continue to get what is given to us and not what we deserve or not what we are demanding.
Pewee, according to the Floridian, and I'm glad that Florida is taking a major part in the exposing stuff. According to the Floridian, Friedland personally owned 12.08% of Ivanhoe's mines, while Xinjiang Mining Group, based in Hong Kong, owned 12.23%, and China Citibank owned 22.33%. Notably, 50.77% of the company's ownership remain undisclosed. This is a major. And to even make matter worse, Liberia does not want to be seen as an unreliable partner where you sign a contract, person make their investment, and then later on it is nullified illegally. Somebody just spent $800 million, which is almost half of the money that these people are trying to spend to do the railroad. Then you take the railroad and give it to somebody. If this is true, this is detrimental to our.
Can you say that again for CFI Dix? He says that the railroad belongs to Liberia, not AML, disregarding the contract. Can you explain that to him so he understands?
Yeah, Mr. Dix, we know it belongs to Liberia, but Liberia leased it, and Liberia have been paid. And a settlement has spent $800 million according to this report.
Yeah.
To rebuild and reconstruct and modernize. Yeah. They spend all this money contractually. And you can't do it. Go ahead, Pewee.
And beyond that, and I said it today when we started the program, I told you that they spent almost $1 billion, right? Yeah. Now, is it? And the time ArcelorMittal came in the country, it's one of the things we needed to see here. ArcelorMittal, when they came in the country, then nothing was in Liberia. Nobody was willing to do business in Liberia. This company took the rate to spend close to $1 billion to reconstruct or to modernize that rail you see today in the country. And the reason, listen, I want to see a lot of competition in terms of investment opportunities back in the country, but we have to do it right and do it. We have any some level of political interference or arm twisting the government of Liberia. If certain folks believe they're trying to arm twist the government to get into a deal that will backfire, this is tantamount to creating more problems for the country. And that's what I would love to see XPX moving the country and doing some great investment in the country. Now, there's this report coming now that the Guineans are not getting the whole public relation for this thing. They are getting apprehensive. Who knows what they're going to do? Because this deal is meant for us to get transit fee. Now, what I'm also receiving, we need to go into the details of this thing, but the fact that I have not been, and somebody was saying something that's the purpose. Okay, you were just saying something about the ownership of this company, right? 27% yes, 27% this and that thing. Now, that is the intent of Article 34 of the Constitution of our country. When they crafted the Constitution, they were not sleeping. There were a bunch of intellectuals, a group of intellectuals that knew what they were actually doing. Now, part of Article 34, that's one of the longest or so, a lot of other subsection or so, is clear. The reason why the legislature should do ratification is to find all these background investigation.
Thank you.
Find out now, is rather this and not. Rather say you, I saw the last one, is rather this, rather that, rather it's all the thing, but I say, is this thing, is Sylvester actually Pewee, is Professor this, is too many, is Gateman actually in Miami. Right?
That's right.
The legislature will do the background check, and after the ratification, because behind the scene of the ratification, a lot of things will point the deal, but we have to find out who is actually having share in this and what is it. So if the country, because it were to ratify, the only thing we are with now is the signature of the chief executive of the country, who of course the president. That means the country, our entire country, the taxpayer now, we got some business into this thing. But what you're saying, 50+%, if there's the ownership are not known, it's concerning. So what I would hope is that, and that's one of the reasons why we've been faced with this kind of a problem in our country, because we've been having a lot of incompetent lawmakers and opportunistic law. Is the combination of the two, incompetent and opportunistic. So if someone's incompetent, then the person opportunistic. Trust me, you get a man good bread and mayonnaise with sardine in it, he will take it. And you told him that. Why he's opportunistic? He's incompetent, right? So a man that is struggling to even get himself, a man that didn't own a car before in his life, or the first time he ever owned a car, the money the government gave him. Then he got the comfort of that for the $5,000 vehicle, and then now come in, so do you come in and tell the man, well, yeah, okay, engage you put $100K to get it done. Trust me, it's too much of a money you're going to go for it. And when I'm concerned, I'm not a type of star that very follow Laura Lumba, but I respect some of the lines she takes sometimes, because she's very clear on online. And these are the top Trump supporters, right? And I respect her current decision she went with. And why would the government sit? Why do we have the Constitution of our country? when the Constitution says we need this issue about separation of power, check and balances. Are we checking? Are we people electing those people that should do proper representation for the country in terms of check and balance? The check and balance, is it working? Because if the information minister is saying something to do with your information that there's a deal signed, and we didn't hear this thing from our government, we didn't hear from the government. We heard it from a partner, our international partner, informing us that deal congratulating the government of Liberia, us versus SPX, on signing this, as they refer to it, as landmark deal. Listen, and I will always celebrate if there's anything. One of the guys, Peter, was just asking questions. Said, Pewee, it's 1.8 billion. It's not money. It's not big money. I think he said, no, I just agree with you respectfully. It's a serious deal. $1.8 billion. It's a serious deal for a country like Liberia that have never raised a budget to $1 billion since 1847. And that's one of the things, Peter, we all should reflect on. We've miserably and massively failed to even raise our budget to $1 billion since 1847. Almost we're hitting 180 years. We haven't done that. Then how can we do it? So I think the lawmaker, I'll just call on them again. I mean, not the lawmaker, the people of our country. This bunch of lawmaker we see, I will hope and pray. My prayer point to God is for the people to vote them out of office. To vote them out of office in a massive way come 2029. And
but nothing changed. You bring a same group of people in.
They were ahead of the Peabody, and that's my fear. So my worry here now is we should tell people like Rawa Garguah to leave from their comfort zone and begin to go back and say, elect me into office.
What's up with the Peewees of the world?
I'm coming there. Coming there. People like Rawa Garguah should leave, because if Rawa is on the Ways, Means, Finance and Budget Committee, or Rawa is on the Construction Committee, he will be asking a hard question. And people like, on a serious note, it's important that we do that. If people like Tomalin just been saying he want to work contest, we will encourage him to do those and to go and get into it. Because if we don't do it, to leave to and try to help the country change, because if the only way that Liberia can change, if we have 50% of the lawmakers that are straightforward, that country will change. Because the check and balance, they will put into place check on the executive, the right thing will start to happen in that country. Other than that, we're in this for a very long haul.
Just information, Pewee. Information. You talk about Guinea. Let's take Guinea out of the equation, because by December we're getting information from the Guinean government that they would have been all set and ready to go with their own railroad. They've invested massively and they're in an advanced stage for that. So this deal has no SPS has no intention to transport iron ore from Guinea. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen.
But Raul,
the U.S. government enter a new contract with the Guinean government with a whole different deal, but they have no intention to do that.
Yeah, Raul, quickly, the flip side to that also going to be a massive investment by the Guineans to do it. They're not going to do that. It's a long stretch of distance.
But they're in advanced stages already.
Yeah, the road is
but guys, let me provide some information, right? I just got.
But I think they want to make their money quick before they can complete the project. They want to make
I think so too. But
let me say this though.
They're adding Guinea to it to make the deal look sweeter.
One minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, what happened? I was just informed that these guys from the HPS guys were in town, right? They came for the 4th of July program. That was one of the reasons that Bugger went to that 4th of July program. When he got there, he met the people, and the people said that whenever that agreement, that stuff to be signed. So and Bugger showed the people that he was going to sign it. But then how they call themselves they how they call it, what the name of the ministerial committee name? They have ministerial committee that they got. They came out and said this should have been signed on Friday, but then they said no. They got 10 points. They had 10 points they were raising that had to be resolved before they signed it. So the post said, "Oh no, the president assured us that on 4th of July that he met our embassy that you're going to sign this document. And how you're telling us you can't sign it?" So then they had a disagreement there. So the post said, "Well, your president got to act, because if he didn't do it, He come Washington to embarrass him. So now, how come they met the Gafwan, the Double Jala, the whole group that will have all of them. They didn't want. They were resisting. But Boga did not sign. The people were right. Boga did not sign. That the ministerial committee that signed, that did the signing. Okay, he did the signing and submitted to the legislature for ratification.
Oh, so the information minister lied then.
What happened? Because Boga did not sign. And that committee, they call it that ministerial committee, didn't want to sign that document.
So what?
And then,
the interministerial consensus
committee. Yes, didn't want sign, and then Boga sent the legislature for ratification. But he had to sign it before he leave to come Washington, because the people said, you already assure us that you want to sign it, but as far as concerned, they have been signed, so they left the legislature for ratification. So right now, we know, like the people I said earlier, that's what happened in Washington tomorrow. But I think Boga hands is...
Okay, but listen to this. 1 minute. It said Ms. Brown for the HPX has been lobbying the Liberian official, including those at the Ministry of State, to fast track the signing of the agreement ahead of Boaka's upcoming meeting with the president. So here we are. The office of the Minister of State for Presidential Affairs were being in this whole deal to fast track, to sign this before it even hits the process. And that's what happened. This is crazy.
No.
The same Ministry of State that was... Sorry, Robert. The same Ministry of State, when the bond woman insulted Boaka, that was expressing indignation.
That's correct.
Molly Kamara, that's the same Ministry that... Look, you guys have said a lot on this, and there's not much for me to say, but I'm just going to say this is smacks of a lot of bullying on the part of HPX, and it looks like our guys are falling for it.
Exactly.
Well, what's the president doing at the U.S. Embassy for 4th of July celebration?
I'll argue. We'll argue that Pewee.
What is he doing?
Argument. Yes.
Yeah, it's absurd, Mr. Number.
I told Pewee, I said in the past, when we were growing up, Samuel do never attend the kind of program at the embassy. The foreign minister will go there.
But
bring our president to the level of ambassador now? For what?
But that's part of us. That's part of us presenting ourselves so small, Mr. Number. I mean, I understand. Listen, like America is a powerful country. I get that. But I also know, dealing with Americans, you cannot, if you know your stuff, whether it's in corporate America or entrepreneurship, if you know your stuff, you have to not only know your stuff, you have to show that you know your stuff. We're not stupid people, you know. Why is it that you allow the U.S. to bully you? Listen, Tomalin, do you know the powerful voices that are part of this deal that directly work at the White House? The partnership with Robert Fellin and Trump, people say, well, he was part of Joe Biden. No. Yes, he was part of Joe Biden. But as a businessman, this man has been dealing with Trump and some of the guys in his cabinet for a long time. The president was instructed, you sign this deal or don't come here to D.C. That's what happened. And they did that. They signed the deal.
I don't want it to be mistaken that, I'm trying to put Liberia's interest ahead. I mean, the president respect ahead of the president. But all of this, I think, puts us in a very stronger bargaining position. And it looks like we're not leveraging, look, I think Robert said it already. Right now, this whole negotiation is not about aid. It's something that we have that the U.S. want, which is in their strategic interest. That puts us in a very stronger bargaining position. And we should leverage it. We shouldn't be signing this in behind closed door and rushing and running all over the place. I think the way we are going about it, we're likely to execute on this plan. We need to take our time. I'm not opposed to the president coming to Washington. He can come to Washington and sit with the president of America and listen to what they have to say. But the way HPS is all over this thing, you understand me, is what is concerning a number of us. I think it's Sylvester who said how much AML has done to the rail to make it usable. And that cannot be for nothing. So we have to balance this thing out so that whatever we get from HPS, we don't end up paying the illegal fees to Asala Mitchell. We got to bring in the people who will help us draw up this contract, people who will negotiate between HPS and Salametel, the U.S. government, the interest. Yeah, Lara Lome, you're Republican, you're concerned about China, whatever it is. Yeah, we get it. You vet because, of the American interest. We have to protect our interests. That's all I think we're all asking, and that's not too much to ask.
Yeah, but quickly.
But Mr. Namwe, Salametel is more American than this Ivanhoe.
Yeah, but they're not in cahoot with the Trump administration. This is coming from the Trump administration, and there's more adjustment in foreign policy.
Yeah, but the Trump side of this agreement is saying that this is bogus, and she did that, and then she CC copied Marco Rubio and Ted Cruz. That is the Trump wing of this thing.
Granted, Jerome, I get it, but look. First of all, the reason why President Bouakai, according to the reports, he was reluctant in moving forward with the HPS because HPS are proving to be not what they represent themselves to be.
That's correct.
They can't even put $150 million out to do the investigation that is necessary for them to do it. They have no money.
They just keep rebranding. They just rebranded it last November.
Exactly.
From I got HPX to Ivanhoe. They just
did whatever it is,
7 months ago.
We have to.
The first and foremost, and I agree with that. We need to. I mean, the whole thing about President attending our July 4th celebration. I think he started doing it, Madame Days, and I believe we should put her to those things because.
Or what?
Equal.
We should put her to, and in diplomacy, if you always want to be subservient, you're not regarded, you're not respected.
That's correct.
And I think the reason why we should put her to it is that the president, I come 1 minute, let's say, and we will always use it, and they will always punish you to say, and I agree now to it again, is that sovereignty also got its own deepening way of negotiation or of definition, if you will. When last you ever heard that even the Secretary of State visited our embassy for Judah celebration?
Thank you.
When last you heard that? I agree that we need much more. When last you heard that? Leave the Secretary of State. When last you ever heard that the Assistant Secretary of State for African Affairs that got the fiduciary responsibility of Africa that should deal directly? When last you ever heard that Assistant Secretary went to 16 something avenue there? When does he hold that? That's happening. Now, what I'm saying, Tony, is that
I want that the desk officer can be meeting up people there.
We should now. We'll need a foreign minister that want to sit with the president of our country and say, Mr. President or Madam President, it's about time that some of these programs, when they are organizing it, let the Minister of Foreign Affairs at least, because this is our premier, they are our premier and major partners. The foreign minister will do the representation. The foreign minister, not the, in other cases, it will have been the assistant minister for American Affairs.
Exactly.
Now, when we started, before President Torgbean could change the nomenclature from Secretary of State, because at the time the Minister of Foreign Affairs was Secretary of State, the assistant minister for American Affairs was very more powerful. And at the time, the assistant minister of American Affairs was the bureau that was even issuing visas and other things. So the assistant minister of American Affairs is clocked with that responsibility. At the time, when those Congo boys, and maybe I don't know, were in charge of government and governance, you had some level of respectability brought to bear on a slaughter route. So to reduce, so it is about time that the Minister of Foreign Affairs would tell the president about reciprocity. Reciprocity is a guy's own definition.
Diplomat speaking, man. Diplomat speaking.
Yeah, but Sylvester Pewee, but even in our own lives, Mr. Gay, man, you can't always be available everywhere.
Yes.
The more available you are everywhere, your value decline. Everybody can see you everywhere. You can't just appear.
Let me say something in the place.
Let me share some of your quickly, right?
But no, somebody wants to, let me go to real quick. You talk about the president attending July 4th embassy thing. The whole president of Liberia came here to the Atlanta here. And you know what these people did with the president here? These people took the president to Huxley Jackson International Airport to meet with managers that even I, Robert Garguah, will have to send my deputies to go meet with. Instead of the president didn't meet with the mayor. The mayor resides right here. But beyond that, the CEO of Delta, Air Boston, he lives in Buckhead. He lives in Atlanta, Georgia, where Delta headquarters are located. You want to re-engage Delta to resume flying in like you go take the president and go meet with my airport managers.
But you know, what they're talking about. Let me share some with you, right? I remember
our presidency too small, man.
I remember in Nigeria, Mr. Nyenwolo, listen to in Nigeria, right?
Yeah, Chief, my son said I was saying hello to Robert. You're giving this.
Very well. Yeah, see, it wasn't no joke.
Robert guy, won't do it.
It wasn't no joke. I'm drinking pure life.
You see, we poor people. You see what I'm drinking my own from Walmart.
but quickly, right? In Nigeria, and we met this Dr. Famule. He told a story. He said, it was 1991 during the interim government time. They had MPRAG, they had IGNU. So they invited the two governments to come to the United Nations General Assembly. So Sawyer felt that it wouldn't look good for he and Tito to come here, and he was president. He felt he was president of Liberia. So he said what happened was our backers now. Yeah, because during the time Duan was president, I think when Boutros Ghali was foreign minister of Egypt at the time, Barker was foreign minister of Liberia. So they had a relationship. So Boutros Ghali now was UN Secretary General during that time. So he said, look, diplomacy is very important. He said, so he sat down and said, you know what we do? He was able to go into this guy's suite, into Boutros Ghali's suite at the UN. And went in the suite, the man in a boxer, and told the man, said, look, we can't have Tito coming to come and address the United Nations General Assembly and then Sawyer coming. No, one person got to come. So they said, so what can we do? He had a relationship. So he do. Then he just pay some fees, pay some of your arrears, and he will come. He said, we sat there. He said, when I call Moose, they call him Moose. Sawyer. I call Moose. So Moose, tell Capital wire some money to pay our arrears right now. If you wire that money, I can tell you you'll be addressing the UN General Assembly on behalf of Liberia. So Moose said, how will happen? He said, just do what I tell you to do. When that money was sent, Sawyer was given to come and address the UN General Assembly as Liberia's president, interim president, not Taylor. So I started to say that diplomacy is all about these networking. Who you make foreign minister? Look, honestly, there are foreign minister, but the people said earlier, Cecil Dennis could open any foreign capital doors. But our foreign minister had noticed you could enter Washington, D.C. or Paris or London and make your rounds. You know, you won't all be behind the president. You see, I give Taylor credit. When Taylor was president, Taylor sent his foreign minister there out. When we heard the guy talking from BBC headquarters in London.
Yeah, Monica.
All the guys there, they made the rounds. But as foreign minister, you shouldn't be staying in the country all the time. You should better go out, try to make way to see Marco Rubio, to see the foreign minister in Great Britain. Now when they said one place, no. I have a problem with our foreign minister. They just sitting in one place. Make your way, make effort, network, get people to help you to cross the cliff. Okay? I mean, the foreign minister of Nigeria comes there, he will see Marco Rubio. He will make sure they have the opportunity to see these guys. You know, the other day you saw Trump with the two foreign ministers of the two countries. It not just happen overnight. So, no, you need foreign ministers that will be able to open any doors in the major capitals to make your case. But if you just always... Why do you think our officials, government, I was listening to Senate hearing the other day, when they go for a visa, look, before, during those time, our government official went to the embassy for visa? No.
Yeah.
You white foreign minister, you guys know how to do it. Send a note. They send that thing, the process your passport, you come to the States. But nowadays, our official government will go to the embassy in whether a rain or sun to get visa.
They deny them.
Be that way.
And they deny some of them.
You know, but it shouldn't be that way at all. Because first of all, if I'm an elected official, why are you denying me? I got 9 years, I got 6 years. So you think I'm gonna stay in America? No, you know I gotta go back. So why are you denying me?
But
why you give me restriction? So I mean, until we can put our team together to say, well, that'll be able to aggressively approach our counterparts. I mean, honestly, but until we do that, will be treated that way. Why will a president go to be doing a toast with an ambassador? Who that man? I can tell you, you can get from me. That particular guy, I can bet you, he Marco Rubio became foreign minister. He haven't seen Marco Rubio yet. That ambassador, I can bet.
No.
I can bet you.
Chief,
I can bet you. I haven't seen Marco Rubio yet.
To tag on to what you're saying, I know Raul will come in. Sometimes we think too complicated and we complicate this matter, but sometimes they give you. Jerome Gateman sitting right here. He has a very large network in the Republican Party. Jerome can set up a meeting for these people. He's done it before. He's tried to set up a meeting for the people. He's not the only person. There are other Liberians here like that who have that capacity. I understand the foreign minister was here and there were discussions had before this announcement was made. So I don't know to what extent, what she did. But yes, Sarah, she comes from the NGO community, the UN community. I understand her strong backer is the current minister, UN ambassador to the UN, Greenfield, who was in Liberia. I understand, they're very tight, and she does have it, but I think she's a Democrat.
Is Greenfield still ambassador? You know,
I don't even think so. I don't even think so. So now we have a Republican team running the government. They have to find people who can help them get into the Republican, belly. And Jerome can be helpful. There are other people who can be helpful. Reach out and ask for help. It's not complicated. We have Jeff Vendrew right here, Councilman Barkley, James Barkley right here. He just got re-elected on the Pleasantville City Council. We went to James. He processed an invitation. My wife and I, as Yula, we met with Jeff Vendrew. Very simple guy, but these are the guys trying to talk to. They can set you up, but you have to have that connection. Like Tomalin is saying, you got to have that
evidence.
But I always thought that, and this is why sometimes I go back. Charles Taylor was handicapped in many instances, and I don't think he was the best guy for our country, and given all of his involvement. But under normal circumstances, you had a guy like Charles Taylor. I think, given his condition, he was able to post some really great guys around in governance. I mean, at the time where people didn't like Charles Taylor at the United Nations, you saw a guy like Myean Captain. I mean, I was a little boy. I used to watch that guy on CNN defending, and every time they ask him, well, why do you defend a guy like Charles Taylor, a dictator, or killer? You should listen to Myean Captain's response. I mean, when this guy started speaking, you would even tell sometimes he's a Liberian, right? He was on some of the top shows on CNN, and he was going back to back. And there's something he said that I really liked back then. He was talking about, I'm a Liberian. I'm here defending my country. Liberia is a sovereign country, and Liberians elected Charles Taylor. You don't have to agree with the election, but I'm yet defending a sovereign country. I'm not necessarily defending Charles. Listen to that. I mean, if you went on YouTube right now and Google some of his interaction defending Taylor and the government and Liberian people, I'm like, damn, how was this guy able to bring together? So, and it was important for his government at the time because he couldn't come to the U.S. He couldn't come to the UN. But these guys were able to
adequately. I got. He managed to do those things because himself, he was a professor of international relations.
But that's my point. My point is, a foreign minister are supposed to be able to understand the international language, like whether it's the U.S., whether it's Europe.
But Mr. Gayman and Mr. Nyenwolo, Pewee, Robert, you can do, but so look at Do. You can put Do as an ambassador. You have T. Ball Nelson, you have Peter Johnson, Herbert Brewer, all the guys. Do have top notch ambassadors.
Don't forget T. Ernest Eastman was the minister.
All the guys do have.
And those are the kind of things you need to have an effective working government.
Yeah.
You need powerful people to be deployed, and you don't come in because yourself. The old man is a slow person. He's not well connected. He didn't get himself well grounded and connected when he was vice president for 12 years. He didn't do that. So the only thing you do now when you come as a chief, for the other people to promote you big time, you need very smart people that got some connections here and do something and turn things around. That will make things to move speedily. And I want Madam Salis to see that. Bringing a lot of support to her. She succeeded in bringing Bush to Liberia. She should see that because she would take and make news of the cell phone. She will come in airport with. You saw her first time meeting with Barack Obama. Obama said she's a role model to her. The first time I ever met.
You know, I
but
haven't. I'm
one
sorry,
minute,
Jerome. Yeah.
1 minute, 1 minute. Listen, this is what we are talking about. That I think now we keep saying it that Joseph Boyka needs to broaden his horizon, his circle, to bring in people. Because first of all, if you were picking an ambassador to the UN, ambassador to the US, you know they're going to do a background check on these folks, right? You know that. This man that you call Conte that you're sending over here had a major brouhaha in Guinea where a baby was sexually, brutally raped.
Nigeria.
And in Nigeria when you were there. And you model that. It was in the newspaper everywhere. Okay? And this man, I mean, when you talk about a vile human being, when it comes to the character of how he handled women and all of these things, you think these people don't know? Somebody who was close to Boyka should have said, President Boyka, this guy is going to have problem in the United States with women in particular, especially the congressional black women, the caucus. And you're talking about a baby being sexually abused. These are things, and then he didn't do himself any favor when he was at the University of Liberia temporarily. If the same, so somebody should have told him, said, this is not our best foot forward. Somebody else. I have never listened to him. I don't know his oratory skill.
No, that's none. That's what I'm about to say just now. You hear somebody foreign, these folks in foreign.
So this guy.
What I'm saying is, you have a foreign minister, you have an ambassador to these different countries. I'm just saying there should be a reflection of not just. I'm not saying you can't speak, but you know, the audience when you're speaking to certain people in certain areas. They need to understand what you're talking about. You need to understand the language. And I go back to money cap. There were times when you were engaging certain people, you were wondering if the man was from Boston or you were from Liberia. He understood the international media. He understood the international languages. I watched him. But when he went back to Liberia, when you see him engaging in Liberia, you'll think that this man never even came to America. He switched it up.
But even Sam Jackson, when Sam Jackson represented Charles Taylor when it was rough, when nobody wanted to represent Charles Taylor, when Sam Jackson took to the airwave on CNN, it was something to behold. I mean, you are talking about somebody who was smart, somebody who is smart on his feet. Whether you like the guy or not, every question that they threw at this guy about Charles Taylor, he had an answer.
Absolutely. And he wasn't saying, and he wasn't saying, well, y'all wait now. We can't do that kind of thing here. We can't do that kind of thing here. The people over there, just how you can't, come on, man. You can't be doing that. And we still have the brains. Even in Liberia, we have well articulated people, experienced people. The problem is we have not reached out across the aisle. Once you criticize the government one time, people see you as an enemy to the government. Instead of looking at what you bring to the table and how you can help the government become successful, we are very limited in our thinking. You know what I'm saying? We got people who can. I'm not saying not that you can't speak like everybody can speak like bringing their movement, but you can't have that same thought process when Sylvester is at the White House speaking. Oh my man, well y'all way smart, yeah. Y'all do. What are you doing? What are you doing?
You know, and Robert, you're very right. The other thing is, you know, the mark of a small manager, you have to be able to match talent to task. You know, it is very important. And like you're saying, what is the vetting process? Jerome just ran down the ambassador here in DC because he plays a very important role. He represents our country here in DC and to the U.S. government, which is our number one, you know, our biggest partner. How is he representing us? Does he have the gravitas? Is he able to get out there, you know, and knock on doors and open doors? All of that is important. And I was happy when Louis was sent here to DC to at the UN, but I didn't see him much future in the lobbying for the UN Security Council seat. But all of these people are supposed to work in tandem. The foreign minister, she's the boss of all these people, but yeah, all of them, they're working together as a team. So I don't understand, how this is so difficult to understand, but I think we're not doing ourselves any favors. I'm really worried about this trip that the president is making here. We all know Trump. You all have pointed that out here over and over. He's very unorthodox. He's not going by the notes. You just look at Barker and asking some foolish question, and Barker, man, the old man. I mean, not that he's not smart enough, but he doesn't expect that. He's a very organized, the consummate, corporate guy. He expect the process, everything to be procedural. And Trump is not that kind of guy. You know, so he's coming here to represent us. I just hope the packaging properly, but the way from what we're reading, it doesn't seem that way. What is the secret about? They're supposed to have preview. What is it they're coming to talk to the U.S. government about? Give us a readout. What is it you think is important to Liberia, and you hope this is what we'll be doing? It's not a big deal. It's no secret. Tell us. You can't leave us here just guessing and guessing because nobody's saying anything to us. What's the big secrecy around this? Even the press is being thrown out in an event where the press themselves were initially invited, and then you throw them out, and the Minister of Information comes on here. He's twisting his tongue into pretzels. He says here the president has already signed the document. It turns out from what Chief Tomlin is telling us, that's not even it. He doesn't even know what he's telling us, and he is supposed to be telling us what the government is doing. He doesn't know. He doesn't know. It turns out it's the committee that has signed this, and now they're going to take it to the legislature to ratify before the president signs it and all of that. But I think Ivan Ho wanted something to get started in concrete terms before the president left Liberia, and I think this is what we're witnessing.
Well, listen, I may be wrong, but have our ambassador made his presence felt in the community where like I've never seen him, never heard of him, never read.
How you do it when he get work permit?
Listen, I mean,
You wicked.
You can't even make news. The Washington Post.
You diplomat get work permits.
I think we saw he presented a credential to some assistant person. Can you imagine our ambassador that's supposed to give his credential to the president of the nation? He didn't even go to the Secretary of State. They say he gave it to some assistants. How is this possible? Pewee, man, even you can go to it and meet the desk officer at the place. How can you, the ambassador, give your credential to an assistant? How is that possible? Why?
Yeah, so the culture behind these things and the way it should be done is that when an ambassador is appointed, before the appointment is done, the culture of the proceeding is that there's this agreement that will be sent first, and you don't appoint. There's no president going to appoint an ambassador without issuing an agreement. The agreement is issued a diplomatic notice to the receiving country by the sending country, right? Because the Vienna Convention is very clear in ambassadorial exchanges. Because the Vienna Convention gives clear-cut proceedings and methods that we use to do that. So when the agreement is issued, in some cases it will take between 2 months. Sometimes it's 5. The relationship that go no problem. It's between a month, few weeks. The president agreement is approved. When the agreement is approved, then the president will move and make the appointment and send into the Liberian Senate for confirmation. If that is the case, that the person the foreign ministry will now run after funding for what we call moving costs. A moving cost is provided to the ambassador and his family.
Patient in DC, no ambassador either.
And a moving cost will be provided to the family, and the ambassador and his family, they will move over. Now, the culture, if we are receiving a country, for instance, back in our country, right? A sending country, as a receiving country, what we have to do is when the person is in the country, the first line of contact is going to be the Minister of Foreign Affairs. They're coming to pay a courtesy visit on the Minister of Foreign Affairs, informing the minister they are in the country to present their credentials to the president. The minister will hold that tete-a-tete, officially informing that they will present something to the minister. The minister will present them and make the preparatory arrangements as to when the presentation will be done. Now, under normal circumstances, that person should be given full military honor, guard of honor, under normal circumstances, because that person is a direct representation.
So that Trump will do it for Trump. What let's say in what office?
Yeah, that's
you gotta go to a contract, right?
On a normal
circumstances,
the reason why the person is given full military honor because the person is ambassador plenipotentiary. Extraordinary. That extraordinary means and plenipotentiary. You can act to negotiate and sign treaty.
Hey, Ambassador Pewee.
Extraordinary thing. You act
no
president.
Our foreign expert talking, man.
Yeah, so it's on the basis of that. So I don't know why he didn't present. It's the first time in many years that when I've got the information that said
America got different president. The men are in president. America,
that's the reason why. But Gay Man, on a serious note, this why it does that it reduces the morale of your ambassadorial role, right? Because that ambassadorial role will have to be given some extraordinary weight, and that weight is where you present your credentials to the sitting president, the receiving president, from the Senate president. The Senate president in this case is Joseph Yuma Boakai, and the receiving president is the president of the great country and the president of the free world. So he didn't do that. The information is that he gave it to some of the deputy protocol at the White House that he presented the credentials.
That's why he's still
that's the information we are receiving.
Not ambassador proper yet, because like you said, the ambassador extraordinary plenipotentiary to be ordered to represent our country to sign on our behalf. He can do it.
Yeah, and diplomacy.
And number two, let me ask a question, right?
Practice, there's no big or small. In the eyes of the Vienna Convention, we are all equal in terms of, and that's why the diplomatic notice, all those things have been done in a way. The receiving country and the sending country, you all got the right to protest. And that's why when something is done wrong, before you declare anybody persona non grata, you have to go within the certified means of the Vienna Conventions, all those things. So there's a lot of other maneuvering that may happen. I don't understand.
Do expel the Soviets like bro, many times he expelled them. But so, people, let me ask you a question. What happened to our man received his agreement to go to the Kingdom of Belgium? His Excellency Ambassador Designate George Solo. What happened on Solo?
Yeah, so George Solo, I don't know, and I'm not saying it to hit him up or so, but I said last time when I heard that in the grapevine, I thought, listen, to be assigned as an ambassador in this kind of a very serious country, you don't need to be a kind of a toxic element. Yeah, right. So trust me, the agreement wouldn't be accepted.
So they're not toxic. Today's a seasoned diplomat.
No, they will go back to your record. They will go back to your record. In diplomacy, they will go back to your record. They'll see the statement you made before.
It was the same solo doing a campaign that was causing a representative great man.
Exactly. They'll go back to that.
Your man this. Your man speaking in raw Liberian English.
Yeah. Listen, diplomacy is a strict.
But Sylvester, why I say every time it comes to Liberia, when it comes to international affairs, why everything have to be abnormal? You just say on a normal circumstances. Why is it that the process is not normal when it comes to Liberia?
And then an important point. But before I get there quickly, I'm going to take a few seconds to say this. So is no longer considered. Now we have a new ambassador destined to the Kingdom of Belgium. We have a new ambassador destined to the Kingdom of Belgium. We have Leva Dima is now the ambassador destined to the Kingdom of Belgium.
So what happens, Solo? I'll call Solo tomorrow. I'll bring Solo on the show.
I'm saying to you, we have ambassador.
Don't bring that man on the show, yo.
So we have Leva Dima that is now. That's what I'm saying to you.
Robert, you scared of course?
Oh no, I will give it right back to him. That's what I'm telling him. Don't bring it yet.
I suspect the agreement when I accept.
So the agreement will accept that.
No, come on. When you accept that, you accept that. Listen, let me say to you what can happen again. Agreement can never be denied. They can say no, but they will not say yes. And in diplomacy, when they not say yes for certain time, I mean I know. That's the tricky part here. They agree. They say an agreement, and we expect things to move maximum. If you're not getting response for the point 3 months, that means they deny the person. If they're not responding that they set in 3 months, maximum 3 months, then I mean you got to go by and name a new ambassador. So again, as I will come back into my usual statement, is the signal.
Yes.
gotta find it. But to answer our question quickly, the reason is that we got to get ourselves certain thing now. In diplomacy, you have to leverage your foreign policy objective. What is it you have that you can leverage? Now, every country, no matter how tiny they are, there's some significant thing about them. So you have to leverage those things, and that can help catapult you in terms of major diplomatic negotiations.
Sylvester Pewee.
Yes, if you don't do that, you will always be at the level of being a subservient. Yeah, to be a subservient counterpart, and to be a subservient counterpart, there's no neutrality in that respect. There's no mutual understanding, and there's no mutual engagement issue here. So there's this issue that we're being faced with. Until we can leverage those things and put ourselves at the level where we can leverage certain opportunity and use that as a major springboard to get some advanced negotiation, we will always be at the subservient line. At the subservient line, then the question of our sovereignty is in serious line of question. And that's why we see it's not all countries that are sovereign, that are equally sovereign like other sovereign countries. They are sovereignty in sovereignty. So the definition of sovereignty, so that's what President Taylor said before. He said nobody will take full accord out of the mistake he made between he and Clinton at the time. He said we are all president. There should be mutual understanding. Mutual
he said the days of Washington calling,
it's over.
Giving instructions is over.
But we shouldn't make that mistake.
No, who are crying now? Those days you made a mistake.
There are days.
Okay, guys. Let's discuss this
quickly. There are still days where powerful country arm twist smaller country.
Let's look at this. On the front page of the Liberia Investigator, right? It says here, the University of Liberia president flags overstaffing and academic fraud in her reform agenda. I know you went to the University of Liberia, and this is what she said. The president of the University of Liberia had raised one of the major reasons the university is struggling to meet its goal as overstaffing. The president made a disclosure over the weekend when she addressed a town hall event as University on the Air. The program run by the Liberia Media and Democratic Initiative provide the University of Liberia president an opportunity to engage face-to-face dialogue with students and participants from various academic backgrounds, including other universities and colleges in Monrovia. She said, currently 77 to 90% of the university budget goes toward paying salaries. Personal costs take almost everything, she said. The people are complaining that buildings are in bad shape, or that there aren't enough chairs. They need to understand that nearly all our money goes to salary. She disclosed that upon taking office, the university received $33.4 million from the national government for 2025. Though she said minimum needed to get started was $41 million. And on, she says, for academic reform. She emphasized that starting next semester, no individual with only a bachelor's degree will ever be allowed to teach another student in undergraduate school. So
yeah, but wasn't that what Lester was doing? I mean, when Lester came here, I think that part of what he was doing to review the credentials and all of that.
That's correct.
I thought that was part of it.
But I think I got a counter argument to that.
Let's start with the overstaffing. Then we go to the budget. Then we go to that one. She said first, the overstaffing, the place. It looks like they have a lot of political appointees there because if 90% of your budget goes to just paying salaries,
right,
then there's nothing. She said it mimics the national atmosphere, right? Where in the legislative Liberian national budget, almost 90% goes to recurring expenditure. The University of Liberia has the same problem. 90% is going to pay salary, and they are overstaffed everywhere.
And that's why I was coming to. I know Sylvester was coming. But I thought that was part of the process that Sylvester Pewee was heading to weed out, because apparently there are a lot of people who are not supposed to be working with the university or teaching who are teaching there. He said it. Most of them don't have the credentials that they claim to have. And people like, people like those, I thought those were part of the people they were trying to weed out of the system. But as I'm passing it on, I read somewhere the university is getting ready to award a doctorate for gender and security. I mean, is that really serious?
Well,
Anyway.
I don't know about that, but she say that and then she flagged Doug Cooper as one of the reasons where they got fraudulent people teaching. They got bachelor's degree teaching bachelor's degree, and she said under no circumstance should that happen anymore. That I mean, we are talking about if it's such a discipline like maybe medicine or engineering or stuff like that, but you can't have a bachelor's degree and teaching an undergraduate degree. It just doesn't look right. Pewee, your turn. You say a counter argument. What's your counter? Pewee. So we're gonna. You say you had a counter. What is your counter?
Oh yeah, what I was basically trying to say here is that I agree. I will get that, Fred, but the overstaffing. I think the president of the new president of the University of Liberia on the ground hit the ground running for some time now. I thought at this critical time she should have come up with this understanding as to overstaffing. You have to understand first and see all the departments. That we have different colleges. For instance, the business college is one of those colleges that are well populated in the University of Liberia. They got the highest population in terms of students. Now, what's the focus point? Now, in the business college alone, we have different set of departments. Now, the accounting department, the management department, the public administration department. These are among the few departments we have in the business for the business college, for instance. So, how do you copy as an academicians? You have to deploy kind of a particular study as to what is the population of the business college and how many instructional staff you need. You have to do that assessment and know, then you begin the process now of seeing the credentials of those that are already instructing in the areas. We have TAs, we have part-time instructors and we have assistant professors and professors. So how can we come up with the determination as per the university own chapter to understand those conditions? That's one. And I thought at this time you match that with the all over budget that the government is giving, because you have to give some report to the government as to what you need to do things to improve and advance the university area that the university have been, Dortmund have been performing very poorly. That's one. I'm countering this because I haven't heard from the university president and her thing as to what's the new strategy. That's one of the things. You go back, then you come to Liberia College. Liberia College is not as populated to business college. Now you go back to the political science department and see what do we need in the political science department? How many instructors we need? You come back to the sociology department. What is it that we need, right? And other departments also in the Liberia College and area. We have the College of General Studies. That area of College of General Studies are people that are doing continuing education, those that are working, going to school. You have to do an assessment of those areas. There are other departments, the teacher college, the agricultural college, the science college, and the rest of that. How are we doing those assessments quickly, my dear brother, to understand from the perspective of this president of the University of Liberia, from what she learned here in the US, and she would take that also to the university to know. So if you did all of that, you will have gotten a fair understanding of the manpower you need to strike the balance across the university. So to come up with determination that it's overstaffed, you may have gotten certain numbers.
Yes, that's what she said.
Yeah,
she says that she says 100 days deliverables included a complete evaluation of the system, and that's what she says. First of all, off the top, 90% of whatever budget is going to salaries, and that's unacceptable. Two, they have now gathered that they have, because the ratio here in the United States is 18-1, right? The ratio. I don't know what it is there in Liberia. Because I see some of the classrooms there. I've seen several classrooms. They're just overcrowded. Now here we got general classes where we meet in the auditorium and lecture classes, and they do that. But regular classes, it should be like 18-1.
And another area that I suspect the university have to do a lot of things, even in the area of registrations, right? The record and registration department of the university is very overcrowded. The master suspend that. Now a lot of people employ people on the basis of family and friendship, all the thing. Now what she could do in those areas now is that now the fact that we took our registration process from manual registration to digitize it. It's about time that you be more progressive and efficient in those areas. Drastically reduce the staff that you don't need there. Put a plan in place for them. Pension them if they've been there long enough in our labor law. You act in keeping with the labor law of the country to avoid court cases and the rest of that. Go to other administrative, non-instructional areas. There's a need to overhaul the university from those areas first and foremost. I don't know who's advising, but if I were advising the new person of the University of Liberia, trust me, we will do some very effective and clinical thing that will add a lot of noise. There are a lot of areas in the University of Liberia that don't require that, like the area of the souvenir area where people are gate gang. So now you got those are that gate gang when you're graduating. You have some more than 50 employees there. There's no need for that. What? Right? So there are a lot of areas we know in the university you can start cleaning the university up. And then because the instructional area is a very top area in the university that you have to focus on. Now you have TAs, you have part-time people, assisting and other things. So see into it, those that have been there for the record years. And that's why I was disagreeing that those that are instructing the instructional staff, if a man held BSc for more than 40 years now, and that man is experienced in teaching management, but he's a BSc person with 40 years experience, that man is qualified to continue to teach. That man is qualified. But the man that just got BSc 2-3 years ago cannot teach BSc. It happened also here in the US.
Yeah, but
right? It's not all.
Pewee had a pushback.
Everybody that taught me masters had PhD.
Yeah, but
with masters, but vast experience in having masters.
Listen, Pewee, if you have your degree 40 years ago, it's almost obsolete. if you got a bachelor degree in 1975, there's no way you can teach anybody now in undergraduate school when these kids got gadgets and information and different. I was doing a course at Harvard, right? And
but having degree in 1975 does not mean you are not being researching to learn.
I'm telling you now. I was doing this class at Harvard, and we were 9 in the class, and these young guys from everywhere. From Japan, everywhere, and some of the programs that they were using. And it's, Mr. Gimman, I'm going to send you this program using this. I'm going to say, and I'm saying, what? So I called my daughter. I said, what program are these people talking about? Oh, they said, oh, these people are using things that and when the kids pull out their gadgets, their icons everywhere. And I said, what is this? These are the different platforms we use to transform, do whatever. And I had to go back and learn some of these platforms because some of us that went to school in the 80s and 90s and early 2000s, we know WordPerfect, we know Word, we know this, we know that different spreadsheet. Those are the kids don't even use those things anymore. So yes, it is. There was a gentleman at the University of Liberia, Mr. Garguah. He did computer engineering in the 60s. When they started transforming the university there at AMU University, you know what, I would just retire because I grew up teaching Kehleboe. People say Kehleboe doesn't exist anymore or whatever that is. He said, I can't go back to school to learn all that new thing. I just quit. I just retire. And he did.
No,
honest.
But what they do here, you know, and when they draw up the calendar events for the year, they put in X number of professional development hours. Those are mandatory.
Yeah.
That's how you continually develop yourself. You know, people come in, they do presentation, but yeah, I mean, the older you get, the more difficult it is to keep up. There are a lot of apps and things that these children are using now that we can't keep up with because it's just too many for you and I. But yeah, you're right. I mean, it's part of the aging. As you age out, you know, you become slow on some things, and some things, you know, you just can't make it anymore because you need to remember. I mean, I have a friend here almost every week. I have to change the password. He forgets the password almost every week. So,
Robert, I'm telling you, we were doing our budget, and the budget guys are in Miami, and another group in Palm Beach, and they are sending these people. And the guy is telling me I'm sending it through this, and I said, man, you have a regular spreadsheet. The guy said, what? So I had to call my IT person. She said, "Oh yeah, we can convert it from that program to this program. Then we'll send it to you.
Yeah.
You gotta convert all this
Yeah.
Yeah.
because that's the new
So
thing."
so right now I got transferred from my old property, and I'm at I've been at one of Marriott's other properties, but it's a bigger hotel, more than 600 rooms,
Woo.
3 4 different
Great.
restaurants, but compared to the JW Marriott, where it was smaller, 300 rooms, and stuff like that, but it was a luxury property, uh, as compared to this hotel. So when I came here, we are still using paper, uh, processing for amenities. So if Mr. Nama was staying at the hotel, and he was a VIP, and events or sales wanted to wire him, they would have to fill up an amenity sheet, and then a sales representative will have to walk the amenity sheet into BMF department, and then take a copy to culinary department, because BMF delivers the amenities and culinary makes the amenities, right? And I'm
That's a
like,
lot. That's
I'm
a
like,
lot.
I'm
Yeah.
like, why are we doing this? And then on top of that, at the end of the shift, I have to collect all of these amenities and send a confirmation emails to uh, all of the different managers, the sales managers, the exec team, front desk manager, whoever orders amenities, to tell them that this amenity was delivered. I have to put the guest first and last name, put the guest phone number, and what kind of amenity was it. And I'm sitting in my office like, this is outrageous. This is completely old school. And so I had a meeting and I said, we need to change this process. We need to make the process much more efficient. And we need to do away with this whole paper stuff, right? And so I'm in the process of actually enrolling the hotel in the real time reservation. Is a global amenities company that makes the process smoother, and everything is done online. So guests can go online, order amenities online, pay for it online. Anyone from in-house can go online, order in-house amenity, and all of the confirmation goes to our emails. When it's delivered, all I gotta do is press a button. It says completed. It goes to the email. And so people are like, does this thing actually? I said, yeah, it exists. Multiple of our sister properties are using that. So it goes back to say that the work is changing every single day. And when
Yep.
people talk about we are in an age of technology, right? And what that actually means, I'm not well versed in IT. My wife is, has a bachelor's degree in information technology. She works for the government, so she's more into IT and what. But when you see some of the things she does, it amazes me, right? But there are people in this industry that are still doing things the other way. So how do we learn? How do we evolve, right? How are we looking at what's working now and changing our mindset and the way we do things to what works now? I think is very, very important. In Liberia, however, we do not see the world involving when it comes to the age of technology to say, you know what can we put in place? What mechanism can we put in place to really direct that? Look at our universities. How many of our students are learning IT in schools? How many engineers do we have graduating? Most of the kids they want to graduate with a bachelor's degree or master's degree in political science, but they don't understand that not everyone can work in government. Not everyone can work in government. So we need to change that mindset and look and see what's happening now. What's happening now, I think, is very important.
We're just behind. Look, Victor, when we got to the middle of the class, one of the young men, I think I was doing the course online, right? And he was in the dorm at Harvard, and one was at MIT, one was at the University of Japan. And the kid asked me, he said, "Mr. Gimmy, how many screen you looking at?" I said, "I'm looking at my computer screen." He said, "Oh, now I know why you're trying to. You need multiple screens." So I said, why? He said, he said, do you have Fagoma 12? I said, no. He said, okay, you need to order this. You're going to have 3 screens where you can do this, do that. That's how you process it. With this thing we're shooting by you is coming from multiple screens.
Absolutely.
You are stuck at looking at one screen.
Yeah. You got 3 desktop. You got 3 people thing in your offices. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah,
And you're doing different things. So I'm looking at it. We here, right? I have a very good staff. I got an IT department. I got my office manager. They are all the gadget gurus and all that. If we are struggling here, just imagine folks there. So when you hear about the ambassador coming to this country, interacting with his peers that have access to everything that the world has.
Yeah.
When he goes there, he's totally lost. He's an alien. Basically, that's why he is. He's an alien. I don't even know whether he has the iPhone 16 Pro Max and all the gadgets that go along with it. I don't know if he does. But these guys are working.
And Jerome, take it from me, I don't care how confident you say you are. You walk in a room and somebody has an edge over you, you feel intimidated. Yeah. It's just a fact of life, you know?
Gentlemen, it's after 9.
Yeah, I gotta go.
Let's go, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, it's been great hanging with you guys.
To make your contribution, guys. We're doing a great job.
Yeah, we have to do that.
Even though Rabo and Sylvester already took care of it, but you can still say your contribution.
Okay, yeah, we need to build our reserve. So whatever they're done, we use it. We need to build our reserve.
We'll see you guys, but it's all
need to have a meeting, please.
Okay, it's all confirmed. It's all confirmed. President Boga will be at the White House tomorrow, and they will be meeting with President Trump. They are all confirmed. The team is in Washington D.C. They're in the hotels. They've been preparing for the meeting now.
But come on, why you call Uncle Friend? I didn't came for.
Nobody's confirmed. Everything's set now. The poor be meeting tomorrow. Yes. Yeah. So they are all there. They are in high spirits, and they are all celebrating right now, preparing for the meeting tomorrow. And tomorrow we're happy tomorrow in the White House.
Quickly, the only thing I'm a little bit concerned about, and I don't know why they can do this, the media to Netanyahu and other people when they come, they will announce it ahead of time.
My man.
I'm not seeing there's no cable news yet.
Man, you compare with Netanyahu.
What's the reason?
My man. Tomorrow, before tomorrow's show.
No. Netanyahu, when the two African farmers come to sign the deal.
My man, I'm 5% tomorrow, my man. Hey.
But they're talking about we're gonna call our tie the president should wear. What should wear? Solid blue or solid red? And what kind of shirt to wear on it?
No, tomorrow the president will be meeting with Trump, and it will be a successful meeting. We pray for them. Let's get our prayers.
Mr. Number, we're gonna tie the president should wear tomorrow. Solid.
You know, he can't meet the Republican president in red time and do well for him. You know.
Hey, he better bring that letter there, Mr. Trump. Second Netanyahu, you will be the Nobel Peace Prize. A second is motion for you.
Listen, but you know one of the things he could do also, he could use, he said our former president, Madam Sadi, wanted this and that. So he could also present a letter tomorrow. I don't know if the spot could crack a letter today.
That's right. Yeah. The man said he was shocked.
But it seems that Trump may like to win this Nobel Peace thing. He may like to win it.
What mean win it? We got Netanyahu ready.
Leave Netanyahu issue. The man that didn't deserve it, he wanted. Then why Trump?
What mean? Barack deserve it. We talking to?
No, Barack said he didn't deserve it.
Okay.
He questioned he didn't deserve it. Barack didn't deserve it.
My boy Roland just sent a message. He said this is on Fox News already.
Okay.
Wow. The president meeting tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean,
it's everywhere.
It's on Fox News.
The news that we don't know is the man who is inviting them. Why is he inviting them? That's what the news is. These people got.
I just got a reporting call that everything is confirmed. Yo, tomorrow.
Listen.
Bring one of these people tomorrow. Let's go with them.
I'm one of those on this show. When I heard this thing, I said, "Was good." And then we went and if you follow the chat room, we had some debate on it in the chat room. I said that we should celebrate this meeting. We should celebrate this meeting, and I will hope. The only thing about it is that if this is about the HPX thing, we need to have more details and more information.
No, it's not. This thing is not
No,
going to be that
Sylvester,
specific.
I agree with you.
It's not going to be that specific.
I'm not celebrating anything that does not benefit the Liberian people by large. I will wait. I'll let the people said. I will wait. I have no expectation because no expectation has been given to us on what the government wants. What are some of the things they are going to discuss in the interest of Liberian people? This is not secret stuff. I think the president works for us. We have the right to know we don't have to know the nitty-gritty, the details, but we need to know what are some of the things the president intends to discuss that will benefit the Liberian people.
I'll let you know in the morning. I'll let you know in the morning.
We don't know
in the morning, I'll post it. I'll get all the clues in the morning in the chat room.
Are we celebrating because the president staying at a nice hotel?
What time is the meeting tomorrow?
Who paying for the hotel in DC?
9 o'clock.
Who paying for that hotel?
I mean, I agree with you all, Robert. We welcome the meeting, but I think the celebration will be.
Who paying for the hotel?
You're not calling me. I see you.
No, so this
I paying for it.
No, it was the invitation.
Good night, guys.
Of the government to be responsible for that.
Hopefully, let's celebrate tomorrow. Hopefully.
Yeah, we'll celebrate. Okay.
Let's see. All right, guys.